Chapter 361. Lin Shin didn't care about the cheers around him as he picked up all 103 attribute light balls and 3 blue treasure chests from the dragon platform. The Azura 9 Brilliance Transformations aura retracted back into his body. Lin Shin's aura fell into a weak state. His meridians had shrunk, his vitality was insufficient, and his face was slightly pale. It seems that using 3 transformations in one go will still be a little draining. Lin Shin sat down on the dragon platform and smiled bitterly. However, this was much better than being unconscious for a few days. At this moment, a few figures flashed across the sky. It was Han Yiji and Han Ziyun. Seeing everyone's worried expression, Lin Shin smiled and said, "Don't worry, I'm just too lucky." Before he could finish his sentence, the beauty's cold and soft body crashed into Lin Shin's embrace as she hugged his waist tightly. "In the future, don't do such dangerous things again, okay?" The beauty's sobbing made Lin Shin's heart ache. He stroked Lung Yueqi's hair and said softly, "I'll try my best." The Lung family's geniuses present couldn't help but sigh when they saw Lung Yueqi, who had always been cold and aloof in her family, revealing such a feminine side. After Ling Tian consumed the elixir, he recovered some of his strength. When he stood up, he glanced at Lin Chun coldly and ruthlessly. Then he stomped his feet and flew away. In this battle with Ling Tian, Lin Chun had used 200 million points of rune energy. However, he had also picked up 200 million points from Ling Tian, so he still had 530 million points of rune energy left. Although he had gained close to 100 billion points of elementary battle chi, he still hadn't stepped into the 9th stage of the Heaven Dipper realm. The attribute points that he gained the most were the cultivation technique soul essences and the 5 elements energy. Lin Chen's elementary cultivation technique soul essences had already broken through the 2 billion mark, and his Heaven Dao points had also reached 6,650 points. He wasn't far from the requirements of the system update. Because Ling Tian cultivated the 5 elements Sword Dao, the attributes of the 5 elements he dropped were extremely high. As for Lin Chen's metal, wood, water, fire, and earth attributes, 3 of them had risen to 900 million points, and 2 of them had risen to 800 million points. On average, each elemental attribute had increased by more than 100 million points. This harvest was truly a little too terrifying. In this weakened state, I'm afraid I'll have to rest for another day or 2 before I can return to normal. Just as Lin Chun was vexed, he slapped his forehead. Didn't he just pick up a new 6-tier pill that could dispel the weakened state? Just as Lin Chen's consciousness entered the system, and everyone outside the one-line sky was about to congratulate the strongest heavenly king of this generation, a beam of holy light shone from 200,000 miles away, shooting straight into the 9 heavens. The chi of holy light soared into the heavens, condensing and not dissipating. It was like a pillar of fire that connected the heavens to the 9 heavens. All the prodigies in one-line sky only needed to activate their battle chi to see it clearly. That's the light of the seed of the holy flame. I've never seen such intense holy fire seeds gathered together. It's the blessing of the holy flame. Quick, there might be more than 5 seed of the holy flame. All the prodigy's attention immediately shifted from Lin Chun to the blessing of the holy flame that had suddenly appeared. They immediately used their movement techniques and flew in the direction of the holy flame. Lin Chun was a little surprised. He had heard of the blessing of the holy flame before. Only when more than 4 seed of the holy flame appeared at the same time at the same place would it be the blessing of the holy flame. Oh, it's the blessing of the holy flame? This direction seems to be the deadland of the extreme south. Lin Chun realized that in just 2 breaths, all the prodigies in one-line sky had set off. Only Yin Qinyun stood in place, calculating with her fingers. Other than a slight surprise on her face, she had no intention of moving at all. "Beauty Yin, don't you plan to participate in the fight for the seed of the holy flame? With your late-stage quasi-venerable strength, it should be easy for you to get a share of the loot." At this moment, Lin Shen stood in the air and asked Yin Qianyun with a smile. Oh, Lin Shen, although the seed of the holy flame is good, that power is not something that an ordinary person can control. Yin Qianyun looked at Lin Shen curiously. Then, when she talked about the seed of the holy flame, her beautiful lips curled into a sarcastic sneer. Lin Shen, seeing that I can't deduce your fate, I'll give you a piece of advice. Give up on the seed of the holy flame and don't absorb it. That is something that you have to offer your will and faith to the devil in exchange for power. However, I guess you can't give up the temptation of this power. Yin Qianyun laughed at herself. Lin Shen looked deeply at her gem-like eyes and suddenly said, Is it because there's a trace of will in the seed of the holy flame? Hearing this, Yin Qianyun looked as if she had been struck by lightning. She stared at Lin Shen in a daze. After a while, Yin Qianyun said solemnly, You actually know? I've only read about it in ancient books. There seems to be such a small record. Of course, I don't know about it. Lin Shen smiled casually and answered ambiguously. Although this woman also had a lot of attribute light balls, Lin Shen didn't dare to provoke her. She was one of the few women present who he couldn't see through even with his purple gold eyes. A golden brocade box appeared in his palm. After Lin Shen opened it, he swallowed a low-level 6th rank mysterious dark pellet and summoned the ancient azure dragon. Han Yiji and Lung Yueqi jumped onto the ancient azure dragon's back. Lin Shen sat on the azure dragon and moved forward. Han Ziyun controlled her 2 vicious beasts to follow behind the azure dragon. Lin Shen took advantage of the fact that he was rushing to the blessing of the holy flame to speed up the process of refining the mysterious dark pellet. The miraculous effects of the 6th rank pellet surprised Lin Shen. Originally, he would have needed to carefully recuperate for more than a day, but now he was recovering at a speed 10 times faster than before. Interesting, he can actually see through the secrets of the seed of the holy flame. If I remember correctly, he has already absorbed a seed of the holy flame, right? Yin Qianyun was very curious. She, who originally wasn't interested in the seed of the holy flame, followed behind Lin Shen's azure dragon and followed him to the land of deathly silence. Chapter 362. The land of dead silence was located in the southernmost region of the Holy Fire Territory. This place was devoid of life and was surrounded by mountains and forests. Golden thunderclouds covered the sky, and golden thunderbolts overflowing with destructive auras constantly struck down. And that radiance of the blessing of the holy flame that soared into the 9 heavens was actually at the core of the land of deathly silence. Some prodigies had arrived in advance, but no one dared to enter. This was because any one of the destructive golden thunderbolts in the sky had the lethality of a Yuan venerable. Lin Shen, who was riding the green dragon, saw the land of dead silence for the first time. His eyes lit up and his mouth opened slightly in ecstasy. Oh my God! In Lin Shen's eyes, the land of dead silence was filled with attribute light balls. As far as his eyes could see, they covered the mountain peaks. Hundreds? Thousands? Or tens of thousands of attribute light balls. Lin Shen almost jumped up in excitement when he saw the tens of thousands of attribute light balls piled up in the land of dead silence. After calming down quickly, Lin Shen and the others arrived at the periphery of the land of dead silence. More than 200 prodigies had already gathered there. However, none of the prodigies present dared to enter, including the 5 heavenly kings who had arrived in advance. The aura of the golden sky thunder is too terrifying. Who would dare to enter? This is a natural disaster that contains the 2 ultimate attributes of lightning and metal. Unless a Yuan venerate comes personally, it's impossible to enter. Many prodigies thumped their chests and sighed regretfully. It was not difficult for the 5 heavenly kings to withstand the attack of a first-level Yuan venerate. However, to withstand the bombardment of tens of thousands of golden sky thunder, each of which was comparable to a first-level Yuan venerate's full-force attack, the 5 heavenly kings would only be courting death if they entered. Some prodigies left in less than 15 minutes after taking a look. The opportunity of the blessing of the holy fire was heaven-defying, but it had descended in the inner area of this apocalyptic natural disaster. No one would be alive to take it. Some prodigies were still pondering, while a small number of people wanted to see if the 5 heavenly kings would make a move. When Murong Changsheng and Ling Tian saw that Lin Shun had also arrived, a murderous intent flashed past their eyes. Tier 6 medicinal pills are really strong. It's only been a short while, and I've already recovered more than 80% of my weakened state. Lin Shin stretched his body and activated his purple-gold pupil. He began to survey the distribution of the mountains around the land of deathly silence. He also imprinted the areas where the heavenly dipper golden lightning was concentrated in his mind. Yin Xinyan followed closely behind Lin Shun. When she saw the blessing of the holy flame light pillar rising from the heavenly dipper thundercloud, she made some calculations and asked in surprise. Judging from this light, it seems like there are at least 9 holy fire seeds gathered. When Lin Shun heard her surprise, he couldn't help but frown and click his tongue in wonder. 9 seeds of the holy fire could create 9 holy sons and holy daughters. This was perhaps a rare occurrence in all of history. Lin Shun didn't have high hopes for the 9 holy fire seeds. His main goal was the elemental ball of light. The elemental light balls gathered in the land of dead silence were all lightning and metal elemental energies. 2/3 of the lightning-attributed light orbs were occupied by the lightning-attributed light orbs, while the metal-attributed light orbs occupied about 1/3. It should be possible, if I use the Azure Dragon Shadow to eliminate the aura and use my full speed, I should have a chance to collect all the elemental light balls. Lin Shin wasn't sure if the ancient Azure Dragon's Azure Dragon Shadow could avoid the detection of the heavenly dipper golden lightning, but it should be able to avoid a portion of it. Lin Shin jumped down and absorbed the ancient Azure Dragon into his body. He turned around and said to Han Ziyun, Lung Yueqi, and Han Yiji, who had just arrived, "Wait for me here first. I'll try to see if I can enter." Lin Shin didn't care if the 3 of them and Yin Xinyan reacted. He rushed into the land of dead silence. Someone went in. Who is it? Is he crazy? Can't he see the sky full of thunderclouds? It's Lin Shun of the 5 heavenly kings. Some sharp-eyed prodigies saw Lin Shun enter the land of dead silence. The moment he stepped in, he turned transparent and disappeared in front of everyone's eyes with the Azure Dragon Shadow. That's the concealment technique that his Azure Dragon used before. He can use it too? Murong Changsheng was a little stunned. A human using the dragon race's divine ability. That was too inconceivable. The thunderclouds surged as if they had sensed that a living being had entered. However, they didn't act immediately. Instead, they continued to howl. Lin Shin didn't dare to use his movement technique first. He carefully moved with pure strength and began to pick up the huge amount of attribute light balls in the land of dead silence. One by one, the attribute light balls piled up like a mountain. Some flickered with golden light, and some were surrounded by lightning. They were all absorbed by Lin Shin. The system screen crazily popped up. Host has received elementary metal energy 3. 9 million points, 8. 8 million points, 6. 5 million points. Host has received elementary lightning energy 8 million points, 15 million points, 9. 9 million points. Lin Shin picked them up one after another. These 2 attributes soared all the way to the 1 billion mark. When Lin Shun quietly picked up more than half of the attribute light balls in the outer area of the land of dead silence, the heavenly dipper thunderclouds around the land of dead silence began to surge. Within the thunderclouds, golden light shone brightly as lightning flashed. It was as if they had captured Lin Shin's trajectory and position. Oh no, what's going on? At this moment, what was even more unexpected to Lin Shun was that the 9-color battle soul in his body suddenly throbbed. It was as if it had broken through some limits and shackles. His metal and lightning battle auras began to automatically transform into a special bloodline energy without his control. Lin Shen's entire body shone with golden light. Electric arcs flickered as he uncontrollably left the azure dragon shadow state. His entire body seemed to have transformed into a fusion of metal and lightning. Golden lightning flashed all over his body, making him look like a god that had descended to the mortal world. Boom! At this moment, the golden lightning moved at the same time, aiming at Lin Shen and furiously striking at him. All the geniuses sucked in a cold breath. Oh my god, what's going on? The speed of the heavenly dipper golden lightning shot towards Lin Shen. Lin Shen was distracted for a moment by the inexplicable situation in his body. When he came back to his senses, he abruptly executed his movement technique and purple phoenix wings. Bang! 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 An earth-shattering explosion shook the entire sky. Some of the geniuses outside the land of dead silence had their eardrums ruptured, and many of them fainted from the shock. The spatial crystal wall was pierced through, and terrifying lightning curled up and exploded. Dozens of heavenly dipper golden lightning struck down consecutively. Its power was equivalent to dozens of yuan venerates attacking together. Yin Xinyun waved her hand and protected Han Yizhi and the other two as she stared at the land of dead silence with great interest. At this moment, a huge chasm that was tens of thousands of feet wide and tens of thousands of feet deep had appeared in the land of dead silence. What a terrifying lightning strike. Fortunately, the power is only concentrated in one area. Otherwise, we wouldn't be able to protect ourselves. Oh my god, so many heavenly dipper golden lightning struck Lin Shen at the same time. Wouldn't he be struck to ashes on the spot? It's very likely. With so many heavenly dipper golden lightning concentrated attacks, anyone below the third-level Yuan Venerate realm would be in danger. It can't be, right? He just became the strongest heavenly monarch in the spiritual state. Is he going to die just like that? Some of the top geniuses, who had narrowly avoided the aftermath of the lightning strike, looked at the chasm in shock. They saw a faint golden light flickering in the chasm that spanned across the periphery of the land of dead silence. A figure was faintly discernible, and many top geniuses were dumbfounded. What kind of joke is this? Could he still be alive after being struck by so many heavenly dipper golden lightning? Just as the top geniuses were sucking in cold breaths, Lin Shen's voice came from the abyss of the chasm. I, Lin Shen, am not using hacks. Chapter 363. At that moment, Lin Shen's body was surrounded by golden lightning. Even his hair had turned golden. Could this be the true face of the 9 tribulations of creation? Lin Shen was ecstatic. He connected his consciousness to the system and found that the proficiency of the 9 tribulations of creation had reached 96%. His primary metal elemental energy and primary lightning elemental energy attributes had reached 2 billion and 1 billion points respectively. 9 tribulations of creation perfection. The special energy bloodline will be transformed into a heavenly calamity combat body, which is superior. The 9 tribulations will become an unprecedented 9 tribulations combat body. A piece of obscure and ancient information flowed into Lin Shen's consciousness. He was suddenly enlightened. I see. As long as any of my elemental energies break through 1 billion points, it will transform into a heavenly calamity combat body. I should now have a metal calamity combat body and a lightning calamity combat body. They are of the same attribute as the Big Dipper Golden Lightning and are even superior to it. That's why it can't hurt me. Lin Shen casually grabbed at the air, and the lightning arcs that were gathered around him suddenly exploded out of thin air, completely shattering the surrounding crystal walls. So powerful. I don't need to use the Azura 9 Brilliance transformation. I just need to activate the Heavenly Calamity Combat Body, and I have the power of a late-stage Quasi-Venerate. Lin Shen was ecstatic. The Heavenly Calamity Combat Body had already transformed him to this extent. If combined with the pure power of the ancient Green Dragon, He could rival a first-level Yuan Venerate with both the Heavenly Calamity combat body and pure power. How powerful would he be if his 9-elemental battle chi transformed into a complete 9 Tribulations combat body? Oh no! The elemental battle chi required to transform the Heavenly Calamity combat body is not comparable to the special energy bloodline. I have to hurry. He realized that his 9-colored battle spirit had already consumed a portion of his lightning elemental and metal elemental battle chi. Lin Shen hurriedly used his movement technique and returned to the land of dead silence. When they saw Lin Shen return to the land of dead silence, the geniuses' mouths twitched. They even thought that they were hallucinating. Am I seeing things? This guy's completely fine? An 8th-level Heaven Dipper realm blocked all the Big Dipper golden lightning. Is this a F** King monster? Those dozens of Heavenly Dipper golden thunder strikes down. No Heavenly Dipper realm level 3 strength can retreat unscathed. Could it be that he, an 8th-level Heaven Dipper martialist, had the strength of a 3rd-level Yuan Venerate? Ha ha ha! I feel like I've reached the peak of my life. Lin Shen let out a wild laugh. His movements were like lightning as he flapped his purple phoenix wings repeatedly, taking away the other portion of the attribute light balls. Every attribute light ball had between 50,000 to 120,000 elementary lightning or metal attribute points. At this moment, Lin Shen's 2 elemental attribute points were crazily rising. Rumble. At this moment, another 100 bolts of Heavenly Dipper golden lightning gathered and struck Lin Shen furiously like a golden lightning dragon. Bang! Bang! The space crystal wall was completely shattered. More than a dozen towering mountains were smashed into powder, revealing the cracks in the void. Many geniuses who had activated their battle chi in advance swallowed their saliva. This lightning strike was even more terrifying than the previous one. Could it be that Yi Futian was also unscathed? All they saw was a streak of golden light shooting out and a figure spinning rapidly. It was Lin Shen. After he was struck by the golden lightning dragon, he spun more than 1,000 times in the air like a top without stopping. Wherever Lin Shen spun, a large number of attribute light balls were absorbed into his body. This strike actually accelerated Lin Shen's absorption. Other than that, he was completely unscathed. The magic of love spins in circles. Thinking of you makes my heart bloom with joy, night and day, but I'm afraid that acting tough is only for a moment and will disappear in the blink of an eye. Brother Chun, I want to take a risk. As if provoked by Lin Shen's coquettish singing, the golden thunderclouds rolled furiously and shot out another 100 bolts of Heavenly Dipper golden lightning. Rumble. The spinning speed of the Lin Top increased by a few times. Lin Shen, who was in the Thunder and Metal Calamity battle bodies, was like a magnet. He had a strong attraction to the metal and lightning attribute light balls within 100 feet and could absorb them into his body. At this moment, Luo Qingyu, one of the 5 heavenly kings, was stunned. I see. So this is the ultimate form of the chaotic 5-spirit technique. From elemental battle aura to elemental battle constitution. Luo Qingyu's green eyes shone brightly. It was as if she saw a whole new cultivation path from Lin Shen. Seeing the Heavenly Dipper golden lightning in the thunderclouds striking Lin Shen and making him spin in circles, some of the prodigies felt their scalps go numb. An 8th-level Heaven Dipper sovereign spinning in circles under hundreds of bolts of Heavenly Dipper golden lightning? Even a few thousand or tens of thousands of Heaven Dipper sovereigns would die. Even a 3rd-level Yuan Venerate would have to run. He was still singing and spinning in circles? Crazy. This world must have gone crazy. Some of the top prodigies screamed in disbelief outside the land of dead silence. Why, Your Excellency Lin Shen, please tell us why you are so outstanding. Rumble. Lin Shen spun around in a carefree manner. His feet landed firmly on the peak of the last remaining mountain. He pointed at the sky, and his silver robe fluttered in the wind. He was bathed in endless golden lightning, and he was extremely domineering as he laughed out loud. Because My cultivation techniques are all picked up by me. After he finished speaking, the thunderclouds surged and the clouds surged. Lin Shun picked up the last 30 attribute light balls. Flapping his purple phoenix wings, he flew towards the inner region of the land of dead silence. Everyone was stunned on the spot as Lin Chen's words kept echoing in their minds. My cultivation techniques are all picked up by me? With the F***CK, did he pick them up? When Lin Shun stepped into the land of dead silence, Yin Xinyun's expression changed. She could feel that her fate and fortune were beginning to change. Any top fortune teller would have a rough understanding of their fate and fortune. If they encountered a great calamity or fortune, they would have a sixth sense to predict it. The reason why Yin Xinyun entered the holy fire level was to look for the most important black star in her life. It was the key to Yin Xinyun's fate. Whoosh! The wind was wild and the starlight was spread out. Tens of thousands of starlight swirled as the starlight jade bottle condensed in Yin Xinyun's delicate hand. Inside the starlight jade bottle was a green willow branch. It looked no different from an ordinary willow branch. However, in Yin Xinyun's eyes, the heavenly Tao law veins were faintly contained within the willow branch's veins. It was overflowing and illusory. This immortal shows the way can only be used 3 times in a lifetime. I only have 2 left. Perhaps it's time to use the second chance now. Yin Xinyun raised the immortal willow branch and sprinkled it gently in the direction where Lin Shun left. The sparkling and translucent willow dew dispersed. When the willow dew dissipated, the world in front of Yin Xinyun changed abruptly. The vast starry sky began to reflect in Yin Xinyun's green eyes. She saw a completely different scene. A young man in a silver robe was the first to enter her memory. Chapter 364. Lin Shun jumped into the land of dead silence. This place was like a dense forest, but it was desolate and lifeless. Many plants and towering ancient trees had already died. They were gray and stood in the land of dead silence. Lin Shun activated his purple golden eyes and quickly rushed into the land of dead silence, while recovering the battle aura he had consumed with the Gold Tribulation and Thunder Tribulation battle body. 45 minutes later, Lin Shun arrived at the location of the Holy Flame Light Pillar. There was an ancient altar that was thousands of feet wide. The Holy Flame's radiance enveloped the entire altar, and it was dazzling. Lin Shun used his purple golden eyes to see that there were actually 10 holy flame seeds placed inside the altar. Oh my God, 10 of them! Lin Shun rushed over with an excited expression. He used the spirit storage ring to store all 10 Saint Flame seeds. As soon as he took the 10 holy flame seeds, the fortune of heaven and earth suddenly changed. With his purple golden eyes, Lin Shun saw countless death luck and killing luck approaching him. What's going on? An expert's killing intent has locked onto me. Lin Shun's heart was in turmoil. Almost in an instant, he was in a desperate situation where he had a slim chance of survival. This killing intent made his hair stand on end and his body tremble. This was unprecedented. Clang! 1,000 miles away, the sound of a sonic boom could be heard. A powerful saber light slashed toward Lin Shun from 1,000 miles away. The saber light could split heaven and earth and devour everything. Wherever it passed, everything in its path would be turned into ashes. Lin Shun flapped his purple phoenix wings and used divine steps. As he retreated quickly, a mysterious and obscure spiritual handprint was formed at lightning speed. Azura's Fury. Along with the formation of the hand seal, the 3-headed, 6-armed Azura demon statue suddenly appeared above Lin Shun's head, bursting forth with a spiritual attack that could dye the mountains and rivers red. Bang! The saber light exploded, illuminating the heavens. The spirit tide was suddenly shattered, and the saber light turned into a sky full of raindrops of sharpness that shot down. Bang, bang, bang. Every bit of sharpness that poured down on the ground would cause the ground to crack, exploding into a crater that was more than 1,000 feet wide. Even though Lin Shun had used the 10,000 mountain Xian armor, he was still affected and suffered light injuries. Lin Shun fiercely stuffed 2 yin-yang extreme wind pills into his mouth, his expression unprecedentedly solemn. Something's wrong. What a terrifying killing intent. I don't even feel this oppressive feeling when facing a Yuan Venerate. I have to hurry back to the area of the Big Dipper Golden Lightning. With a flap of the purple phoenix wings, Lin Shun executed his movement technique at full speed. Like a bolt of lightning, he continuously turned and swept towards the area of the heavenly Dipper Golden Lightning. Although Luo Yunyang did not know who had attacked him, the other party's casual slash had forced him to go all out. This kind of strength was definitely above a Yuan Venerate. Whoosh! A beam of light that looked like a polar star streaked across the sky from the south. It was as if it had leaped through space. In just a few moments, it was within 1,000 miles of Lin Shun. Saber light pierced through the sky. Oh no! The second slash is coming. Lin Shun hurriedly turned around. The saber light that spanned across the sky was like a heavenly river hanging upside down in the starry sky as it suddenly slashed down. The saber light sliced through dozens of mountains like a heavenly river descending to the earth. Bang! Boom! The spatial crystal walls crumbled and the ground was split into 2. An earth-shattering abyss appeared. It was thousands of feet long and hundreds of feet wide. It was unknown how deep it was, but it was a ghastly sight. Lin Shun was sent flying hundreds of miles away by the saber chi. The moment he stabilized his body, he activated the Azura 9 Brilliance transformation. Without holding back, Lin Shun instantly activated the 3 transformations, and his cultivation soared to the peak of the 9th level. His entire body began to surge with dazzling golden light and faint lightning as he prepared to transform into 2 types of tribulation battle bodies at any time. Oh, who would have thought that a small ant could actually avoid 2 slashes of my saber? A surprised voice rang out. In the void, dozens of miles away from Lin Shun, a devilish young man in purple clothes was floating in the air. He held a black saber that was as black as the abyss and sized up Lin Shun with some interest. The 2 of them looked at each other. Lin Shun saw the black saber in his hand, and his heart was in turmoil. Who is this person? His strength is only at the late stage of the Heaven Dipper realm, and the saber in his hand is even a 7th grade weapon? How is that possible? A Heaven Dipper realm can already control a 6th grade weapon. A 7th grade weapon. Isn't that the legendary Emperor grade weapon? Lin Shun, who had become a forging master, saw through the details of the mysterious black saber at a glance. It was a 7th grade Emperor grade saber. A Heaven Dipper realm cultivator couldn't even get close to a certain range, let alone control a saber of this grade. How did this young man in purple control this saber? What was even more frightening was that this young man in purple's cultivation and combat strength were completely disproportionate. Every slash had the power to kill a venerable, and a casual slash could force him to go all out. In a flash, thousands of thoughts surged in Lin Chen's mind. The 4 heavenly kings are the geniuses that the ancient families can cultivate. No matter how strong they are, they can't be this strong. Could he be a genius from outside the spiritual state? But if there isn't a huge difference between the ancient families and the Jojo continent, no matter how strong they are, they can't exceed the standard. Lin Shun had never had such doubts before. The only thing he was sure of was that the top 10 geniuses and the 4 heavenly kings were nothing in front of this young man in purple. Lin Shun was almost certain from the strength that he had just displayed. Even if all of the holy fire-level geniuses attacked him together, the only result would be that all of them would die under his saber. This person was the strongest opponent that Lin Shun had ever encountered in his life. There was no one else like him. Just as Lin Shen's mind was filled with countless thoughts, the demonic young man spoke again. Ant, your cultivation method is interesting. Kneel down and kowtow. Give me your holy fire seed and cultivation method and be my dog. Otherwise, you'll die. The devilish young man smiled strangely. He seemed to have noticed the extraordinariness of Lin Chen's 9 tribulations of creation, and was now threatening Lin Shun to be his lackey. Since you're so generous, Lin Chen scratched his head and said with a smile, "Go to hell." Heavenly Dragon Transformation. 9th Heaven Wild Thunder. Corrosion and recharge runes were activated, and Lin Chen instantly transformed into Gold and Thunder Calamity combat forms. Gold lightning flashed all over his body, and he was possessed by the Azure Dragon. When the dragon power erupted, his spear was like a dragon. Lin Shun used his understanding of the 2 great spear techniques, Demonic Might Wild Thunder and Heavenly Age Dragon Rebel, to combine them and unleash a battle skill that surpassed the blue rank and was infinitely close to the purple rank. After transforming into Thunder Calamity and Gold Calamity combat forms, Lin Chen's attack power increased by more than 4 times when he used these 2 types of battle aura. With the head of a qilin, the tail of a carp, the horns of a deer, and a long beard on its face, the Gung Gold Dragon transformed into a 5-clawed golden dragon. It was surrounded by the 9th Heaven Wild Thunder, and it was indestructible. It exploded with earth-shattering power and rushed toward the demonic young man like a bolt of lightning. In just one exchange, Lin Shun had already used his strongest attack at this stage. Chapter 365. Lin Chen's lightning attribute and metal attribute energy had both reached 1 billion points. Just by using the strength of these 2 battle constitutions, Lin Shun could match a first-level Yuan Venerate. As the Heavenly Age Thunder Dragon tore through the void, a look of surprise flashed across the young man's eyes. Oh, how can an ant-like mortal possess such strength? While he was surprised, the Grade 7 Black Saber seemed to have a mind of its own as it surged with a murderous aura. The young man then slashed down vertically. The straight saber light slashed down like a bolt of lightning and split the golden Heavenly Age Thunder Dragon apart. The lightning exploded into golden arcs that filled the sky. Like a wave of corrosive energy, it followed the golden arcs and entered the young man's body. It was Lin Chen's corrosive rune. This attack can actually corrode my battle chi. Interesting. The purplish-black battle chi was like a twisting dragon as it burst out of the young man's body and cleansed the corrosive rune's energy completely. Slow rune. Lin Chen suddenly shouted. The slow rune with 50 million points of rune energy descended from the sky and merged with the young man's body. He could block Lin Chen's battle chi attacks, but he couldn't block Lin Chen's characteristic rune. When the slow rune that suppressed eternity exploded, the young man's movements and battle chi became particularly sluggish. Half of his battle chi couldn't be used for the time being. Lin Chen followed up with another attack. His spear was like a ferocious dragon as thousands of golden arcs of lightning condensed into a single point. Clang! Unexpectedly, an awe-inspiring sharp light that illuminated the sky bloomed from the young man's body and slashed out, breaking Lin Chen's slow rune. Faced with Lin Chen's fatal strike, he held his saber with both hands and slashed out furiously. Clang! The moment the saber and spear collided, the spatial crystal walls seemed to be turned upside down and shattered into pieces. Lin Shun was forced back 100 steps by the young man's saber. His arms were numb and blood seeped out of the surface of his skin. Every step he took shattered the spatial crystal walls. It was abnormally heavy. The 5 Dragons' imperial spear in his hand was also flickering with light. The dragon aura had shrunk, and the 5-colored dragon aura that used to be vivid and lifelike had now become dull and lifeless. What a monstrous weapon! My 5 Dragons' imperial spear is only at Tier 6 intermediate for now. It won't be able to withstand too many of his attacks. If this goes on, I'll die here. I can't fight him head-on. Looking at his own spear, Lin Shun felt his heart ache. I didn't expect a mere ant like you to have some tricks up your sleeves. However, in front of me, it's nothing more than an unorthodox trick. Die. The demonic young man sneered. Just as he was about to raise his saber and slash again, Lin Chen's lips curled into a sneer. He put away the five dragons' imperial spear and changed his hand seal again. At this moment, a figure silently appeared behind the demonic young man. Dark Dragon Palm, 7-layer Dark Dragon Force. That figure was Lin Chen's doppelganger. 9,500 dragon power points and dark battle aura swirled together and struck the back of the demonic young man at close range. The demonic young man's expression changed for the first time. He had not sensed when the doppelganger had approached him. He pushed out both his palms, and two dark dragon palms exploded at close range. Dark battle aura, surrounded by golden lightning, pierced through. Chi-Chi. 3 layers of barriers appeared on the demonic young man's body. It was as if he had activated some high-grade defensive treasure. Even so, the Dark Dragon Force unleashed by Lin Chen's doppelganger still penetrated part of his defense and penetrated his body. The surging Dark Dragon Force penetrated his body. The demonic young man tasted something sweet in his throat and almost spat out blood. His eyes were filled with monstrous rage, as if he had suffered some great humiliation. I was actually injured by an ant. A few attribute light balls rolled out from the demonic young man's body and fused with Lin Chen's doppelganger. Host has received 3,000 Heaven's Path points, 200 billion Elementary Battle Aura Essence points, 600 million Elementary Cultivation Technique Essence points. Lin Chen did not even have time to look at the system's notification. Just as the doppelganger attacked the demonic young man, Lin Chen's hand seals sank, and his vast spiritual power surged rapidly. Strands of spiritual power condensed into a vortex and spread throughout the sky. Finally, they transformed into 2 3-headed, 6-armed Azura demon statues. Lin Chen's rune energy decreased by 10 million points. This was the first time he had used a 300% rune charge for a top-grade blue rank battle technique. Roar! Roar! With his hand seals by his lips, Lin Chen opened his mouth and roared. The 2 Azura demon statues emitted a spiritual sound wave that could shatter heaven and earth. It was like a divine wind that swept through everything. This time, the demonic young man revealed a serious expression for the first time. Lin Chen had perfectly combined Azura's Fury and Genesis Holy Scripture's special spiritual control techniques. He could condense 2 Azura demon statues at the same time, increasing their attack power and attack range by several times. Although this action would cause the consumption of his spiritual power to double, Lin Chen did not care about that at the moment. The 2 Azura demon statues were stacked with runes. This spiritual attack was so powerful that even most 3rd-level Yuan venerates would have to avoid it. Brilliant world illumination. The demonic young man's grade 7 war saber overflowed with a destructive aura as it slashed out like a wild dragon. The saber light was black and red in color. It erupted with a demonic power that could devour heaven and earth, causing the area to wail in pain. The saber light flashed and disappeared, bringing with it an aura of despair, withering, annihilation, and destruction. In the entire inner region of the Silent Land, the earth veins were uprooted and the mountains and rivers collapsed. Only desolation and ruin were left. Lin Chen's figure had already disappeared. The demonic young man waved his black saber lightly and killed Lin Chen's doppelganger. His eyes were filled with murderous intent. Trying to escape? Not so easy. A mere ant actually dared to injure my perfect body. Die. The demonic young man turned into a streak of divine light and shot towards the Big Dipper golden lightning region. Lin Chen's face was pale. His spiritual power had been barely able to summon the 2 Azura demon statues and was almost exhausted. I must escape to the Big Dipper golden lightning region. Otherwise, only death awaits me. Lin Chen burned his purple phoenix true flames frantically as he broke out in cold sweat. His movement technique was as fast as a dragon as he traversed hundreds of miles in a breath. The demonic young man's strength was heaven-defying. Lin Shan knew very well that his current strength was on a completely different level compared to the demonic young man's. If it weren't for the 4 attribute runes, he wouldn't even have the chance to escape. Given his strength, no one can stop him even if I escape outside. I must escape to the Big Dipper Golden Lightning region, where the thunderclouds are the densest. Lin Shen's eyes were filled with a strong will to survive as he flashed through the void and moved for nearly 15 minutes. Rumble. The saber aura surged across the sky. Lin Shen's expression instantly became heavy. He still managed to catch up, hardening his heart. Lin Shen's eyes flashed with a crazed light. The rune energy in the system status bar suddenly decreased by 230 million points. Chapter 366. Outside the land of dead silence, outside the heavenly Dipper Golden Lightning region. When the geniuses saw the blessing of the sacred flame disappear, they immediately beat their chests and stomped their feet in shock. Who would have thought that the blessing of the sacred flame would be snatched away by Lin Shan? Every genius could only absorb a limited amount of sacred flame seeds. However, this item was not limited to them. If they could bring the extra sacred flame seeds back to their families, they would receive an unprecedented reward. Thus, the more sacred flame seeds there were, the better. The value of the sacred flame seeds was enough to receive a huge reward from the ancient families. Among so many people, only Yin Qianyun was staring blankly in the direction that Lin Shan had left in. According to the information listed by Immortal Yang Lu Luo, Yin Qianyun saw everything that had happened in the land of dead silence. That purple-robed youth was the person that Yin Qianyun was looking for. That person was none other than the Black Star. He is actually, after seeing him in person, Yin Qianyun finally knew what the Black Star that she had discovered when she was deducing the heavenly secrets was. His true identity was that of a true descendant of God. God was the supreme existence that created the heavens and earth. God had existed since the primordial era. They shone as brightly as the sun and moon, eternal and indestructible. The sun and moon would decay, but the God would not. The heavens and earth would be destroyed, but the God would not be destroyed. Their level of life was completely different from the mortals in the land of the 9 provinces. They had the power to create and destroy the world. The descendants of God were the descendants of the creator of the world. They had the might of God, the bloodline and ability of God. They represented God in the land of the 9 provinces and even the wider world, controlling the entire world. Their existences were not creatures that mortals could touch or fathom at all. However, what shocked Yin Qianyun even more was that Lin Shan actually dared to make a move against a descendant of God. Was he crazy, or was he ignorant? In this world, no one had ever dared to go against the will of God. Going against a descendant of God was going against the will of the creator of the world. This was not the level of a newborn calf that was not afraid of a tiger. This was equivalent to going against the might of the heavens with his own strength. This was like the difference between a true dragon and an ant. Who had ever seen an ant attack a true dragon? Now, not only did this young ant reveal its sharp claws at such a young age, it even dared to attack the descendant of the true dragon who controlled the world. Ever since Yin Qianyun had become a fortune teller, this was the first time in her life that tears were flickering in her jade eyes as she muttered to herself. Could it be that he's not even afraid of gods? For Lin Shan, whether or not he knew that the other party was a descendant of God, he would not yield. No one yearned for freedom more than him. Even if it was a god, he would not lower his head. Within the land of dead silence, Lin Shan knew very well that there was no way he could defeat the purple-clothed young man with his current cultivation and trump cards, as well as the capabilities of the system in version 3.0. However, as long as he could persist until he reached the heavenly Dipper Golden Lightning area, then he, Lin Shan, would have won half the battle. The purple-clothed youth, the descendant of God, charged over with a black saber in his hand. Beneath his feet, There were whirlwinds that resembled saber lights. Every time the tip of his foot took a step in the void, the demonic youth would teleport close to 1,000 miles away. This time, he really wanted to kill. Just now, he did not take Lin Chen seriously at all. He thought that he was just a small ant with some trump cards. However, Lin Chen's moves had exceeded his expectations again and again. He thought that he was a sheep, but he did not expect that he was a lone wolf. Holding the saber with both hands, the purple-clothed youth was about to slash out. Slow rune. A 1,000 zhang long grayish-white rune spanned across the sky. Ghost suppressing, demon sealing, and God defying. It's this kind of insignificant skill again. Before he could finish his words, the purple-clothed youth's expression changed slightly. His battle chi and movements became incomparably sluggish. It was as if his entire body, including his meridians, had been filled with extremely heavy lead and iron, circulating at the speed of a tortoise. The purple-clothed youth circulated his mental cultivation method, but he was unable to break free from the shackles of this energy. This move is not on the same level as the one just now. While he was still in shock and doubt, two figures tore through the void and appeared on his left and right. Dark Dragon Palm, 7 layers of Dark Dragon Force. The doppelganger clapped its palms furiously, draining the last bit of dark battle chi and sending the purple-clothed youth flying. Dozens of attribute light balls fell from the purple-clothed youth's body and merged into Lin Chen's body. After the successful attack, Lin Chen quickly retreated again. Using the Wind Prison Hell King steps, Lin Chen and his doppelganger split up and retreated in 2 different directions, one south and one north. Because the doppelganger was formed by the rune energy, it was almost no different from Lin Chen's real body. The purple-clothed youth could not tell which was Lin Chen's doppelganger and which was his real body. A moment later, the saber light split the ground, and the slow rune was broken again. Do you think that I can't do anything to you just because you split up? The purple-clothed youth was enraged for the first time. Since he was born, he had always been the only one in this world. He had always been invincible, and nothing could go against his will. This time, he had been played by a mortal twice. He felt that he had suffered the greatest humiliation in his life. Boom! The ground collapsed, and the mountains collapsed. The purple-clothed youth turned into a streak of light. His battle chi was consumed at an extremely fast rate, and his speed doubled as he rushed towards the south. In less than 20 breaths, he caught up with Lin Chen's doppelganger and killed it with a single saber strike. When he realized that it was just a doppelganger, he immediately chased in the opposite direction. After another 60 breaths, he finally caught up with Lin Chen. Wait a minute before I die. I have something to say. Suddenly, Lin Chen, who was about to be caught up, suddenly said loudly, "Huh, you finally want to beg for mercy? Or do you want to play some tricks?" The purple-clothed youth looked at him with a cold smile. His sweaty palm was holding a grade 7 saber, and the tip of the saber was flowing with saber chi. He was ready to slash at Lin Chen at any time. He saw that Lin Chen, who was about to die, still had a mocking smile on his face. "What's the matter, handsome? Weren't you very awesome just now? Why are you sweating? Is it because your kidney is weak?" Kidney deficiency is sometimes caused by overwork. Lin Chen lifted his bangs and smiled confidently. Only a man who can last long enough can be the King of Kings. King of Kings, Lu Wei Di Huang pill, which can cure kidney deficiency. It doesn't contain sugar, and 1 segment is better than 6 segments. Jelly, I only want the Wolf of Joy. Xuan Huan, I only want the King of Single Machines. Die. The purple-clothed youth couldn't understand Lin Chen's crazy words. He waved his saber angrily, and the saber light flashed past. Lin Chen was cut into 2. Swish, swish. Lin Chen's figure dissipated into light and flew away. The purple-clothed youth's pupil shrank. This body was also a doppelganger. He was talking crazily just now to stall for time. So he created 2 doppelganger and made him work for nothing? Thinking that he was fooled by a mortal 3 times, the purple-clothed youth's veins bulged, and his killing intent was revealed. After a while, he calmed down again. Interesting. A mortal was actually able to escape from my hands. Very interesting. Hee hee. Ha ha. The purple-clothed youth looked up to the sky and laughed with a hint of coldness and interest. Chapter 367. The purple-clad young man had used up a lot of battle aura to chase after Lin Shen's two clones. Furthermore, he had to rely on his own strength to pass through the troublesome Big Dipper Golden Thunder area. Apart from that, he did not enter the Holy Fire level together with Lin Shen and the rest of the ancient families. He relied on his own strength to open a space tunnel into the Holy Fire land. Otherwise, how could the elders outside fail to see through his true identity and background? In order to safely leave the Holy Fire land and go to the next dimension, he had to preserve part of his strength. Forget it, I still came out of train after all. I was looking forward to a different experience. I didn't expect there to be such a person among the mortals. The next time I see him, I'll take my revenge. The purple-clad young man's lips curled into a cold smirk. In a flash, he disappeared. Big Dipper Golden Thunder area. After Lin Chun entered, he used the green dragon reflection as a cover and entered the most active area of the Big Dipper Golden Thunder before he dared to stop and rest for a moment. Lin Shen's rune energy had consumed 230 million points in one go, and 110 million points had been used on the slowing rune. This was the first time Lin Shen used the slow rune with more than 100 million rune energy points. He barely managed to suppress the purple-clad young man. As for the other 120 million, they were used on the phantom runes to create two phantom doppelgangers to launch a surprise attack on the enemy. His real body had already used the green dragon reflection to escape into the void. By the time the opponent destroyed the second clone, he had already entered the Big Dipper Golden Thunder area. After entering the Big Dipper Golden Thunder area, Lin Shen discovered a secret. That was when he used the green dragon reflection, he could transform part of his body into Thunder Retribution or Gold Calamity Combat body to avoid being locked on by the thunderclouds. Taking this opportunity, Lin Shen hid at the bottom of a mountain valley. He did not have to worry about being locked on by the thunderclouds for the time being. Where did this humanoid monster come from? He's only Heaven Star Border Stage 9, and he's so strong. Lin Shen broke out in cold sweat. This time, when he removed the triple transformation of the Azura 9 Brilliance transformation, he did not welcome the weakened state as usual. When Lin Shen opened the system in confusion, he was stunned on the spot. Heavenly Tao Possession System version 3.0 host. Lin Shen Cultivation Base. Heavenly Dipper Realm 9th Layer Early Stage. Maximum Strength 7,200 Dragon Power. Elementary Vitality 1135. 7 billion points. Basic Battle Chi Essence 1,399. 5 billion points. Elementary Spiritual Power 150 million/100,000 points. Early Transcendence Realm. Basic Cultivation Method Soul Essence 5 billion points. Heavenly Tao Points 14. 350 Mental Cultivation Method 9 Tribulations of Creation 96%. Cultivation Techniques Taisher Scripture 90%. Azura 9 Brilliance Transformation incomplete. Bloodline Energy up to 3 types. Azure Dragon Bloodline 50,000 points. Purple Golden Pupil Bloodline 10,000 points. Characteristic Runes Level 3 Slowing Rune, Level 3 Corrosion Rune, Level 3 Charging Rune, Level 3 Illusion Rune. Basic Rune Energy 700 million points. Elementary Elemental Energy Fire 800 million points. Earth 800 million points. Wood 800 million points. Metal 1. For billion points, Water 800 million points. Lightning 1. For billion points, Wind 900 million points. Light 400 million points. Dark 800 million points. Update version 4. 0 requirements. Collect 10,000 Heavenly Tao points. 3 billion Elementary Cultivation Method Soul Essence. Estimated to unlock innate ability, fusion ability, upgrade initial attribute value. Treasures on hand 2 characteristic rune stones. 77 tier, 5 medicinal pills. 321 tier, 5 medicinal herbs. 37 tier, 6 medicinal herbs. 3 tier, 6 medicinal pills. 30 intermediate blue rank battle skills. 18 advanced blue rank battle skills. 3 peak blue rank battle skills. 39 tier, 5 treasured equipment. Lin Shun realized that his elementary rune energy had increased instead of decreasing. During the battle with the purple-clothed youth, he had used more than 300 million rune energy, and now he had 100 million more than before. Elementary battle chi essence had increased by 400 billion points, allowing him to enter the early stage of Heavenly Dipper Realm. His Heavenly Dao points had also increased by more than 7,000 points, and his dark energy had increased by 400 million points. The most terrifying thing was that his elementary cultivation method soul essence had increased by close to 1 billion points. Understand now. So, it's the attribute light balls dropped by that guy. Lin Shun slapped his thigh as if he had just woken up from a dream. He was so excited that he spoke incoherently. Damn it, Brother Chun, this is the first time I've seen such a terrifying increase in attributes. No wonder my Phantom Clone's Dark Dragon Palm had increased in power. So it turns out that my cultivation and dark energy have both increased. The harvest this time was completely out of Lin Chen's expectations. That purple-clothed youth had dropped a total of over 20 attribute light balls, and Lin Shun didn't even have time to count them. He didn't expect that each attribute light ball would have a massive increase in attributes. System, I want to update the Heavenly Dao Attribute Collecting System to version 4.0. The update requires 10,000 Heavenly Dao points and 3 billion elementary cultivation method soul essence. Time required for this update, 7 days. Update content, estimated to unlock innate ability, fusion ability, upgrade intermediate attribute value, etc. Does the host confirm the update? Confirm. Almost every cell in Lin Chen's body was roaring out confirm. The system has received 3 billion elementary cultivation method soul essence and 10,000 Heavenly Dao points have been deducted. Beginning update, 0, 1%, 0, 2%. Damn it, if the update doesn't happen soon, there's no point in fighting. The purple-clothed youth was so powerful that it made one's hair stand on end. It was the first time that Lin Shun had met someone of the same age that he couldn't defeat. He even had to run away as soon as he saw him. As long as the purple-clothed youth was still on holy fire level, Lin Shun wouldn't dare to go out and cause trouble even if the holy fire level was vast. Even if Lin Huang and all the holy fire level geniuses attacked together, they would only be able to slash a few more times with a grade 7 battle sword. Seeing that the system was being updated, Lin Chen's heart finally calmed down. Regardless of what the new functions would be in version 4.0, he now had 2 rune fossils, which meant that he would have at least 2 level 4 attribute runes by then. With 2 level 4 attribute runes, even the purple-clothed youth wouldn't be able to kill him so easily. After calming down, Lin Shun started to ponder. Speaking of which, who is this person? I don't know much about the world outside of the 9 continents. Could he be a genius from another world? Rumor had it that the 9 continents were divided into 9 continents, which were collectively known as the 9 continents. However, outside of the 9 continents, there were thousands of realms where there were various races and creatures which contained the secrets of the universe. Suddenly, Lin Shin thought of a name that he had heard before, the descendant of God. Legend had it that the 9 continents were a world where God existed. The descendant of God would walk around the 9 continents and take care of the human world on behalf of God. If he was the descendant of God, it would explain why he was so powerful and how he could wield a level 7 sword without suffering any backlash. Chapter 368. No one could imagine what kind of trump cards the descendants of these supreme beings would have. Thinking of this, Lin Shun smacked his lips and clicked his tongue in wonder. Could this guy really be a descendant of gods? Brother Chun, did I just have a fight with the descendant of a god? It doesn't seem like a big deal. He's just carrying a head on his shoulders. In terms of handsomeness, he's not even as good as me. Lin Chun took out a mirror and admired his handsome face for a while. It was as if he had forgotten what had just happened. He sat cross-legged quietly and concentrated on recuperating. He believed that even the purple-clothed young man would have to pay a certain price if he wanted to completely cross the Tiangang Golden Lightning Zone. Not to mention finding Lin Chun here. He had already left battle chi marks on Han Yiji, Lung Yueqi, and Han Ziyun. If the three of them were in danger, he would immediately kill them. If the three of them were not in danger for the time being, Lin Chun planned to wait here until the system was fully updated. After one day, Lin Chun took some pills and recuperated, returning to his peak state. Since he had nothing to do for the time being, Lin Chun tried to take out his sacred fire seed. There was another threat in the sacred fire seed, and that was the strange and mysterious will hidden inside it. Legend has it that if one's innate talent is excellent, they can refine more than one sacred fire seed. Now that I have 13 of them, I wonder how many I can refine. Lin Chun absorbed one of the sacred fire seeds into his body. Like the flames of hell, they swept through Lin Chun's body in an instant. From the second sacred fire seed onwards, absorbing the sacred fire seed was no longer easy. It was a torturous process because it was the first step to a new boundary. For this step, he had to undergo endless tempering by the sacred fire before he could be reborn. Lin Chun was not afraid at all. He did not think that he was someone who would stop here. This time, when a sacred fire seed entered his body, Lin Chun did not need to look for the strange will. The faint aura of his thunder tribulation and gold calamity battle body instantly removed the remnant will in the sacred fire seed. It seems that the aura of the apocalyptic body can get rid of the remaining will in the seed of holy fire immediately. The sacred flame lit up with fiery light, constantly tempering Lin Chun's bone frame and his 9-colored battle soul. The tempering this time lasted for close to 6 days before it ended. Boom! The 9-colored fighting soul in his dantian became even more condensed. Lin Chun's cultivation had officially stepped into the mid-stage of the 9th stage. More importantly, the seed of holy fire had brought many benefits to Lin Chun. His ability to absorb and refine spiritual energy, his combat skills, and other basic abilities had been greatly improved. Although it was not as good as the first time, it was more than twice as good. At this moment, a divine mark flashed between his eyebrows. 2 sacred marks. This meant that Lin Chun had already absorbed 2 holy flame seeds. The first one took less than 2 hours. The second one took 5 days and 5 nights. If I absorb the third one, I'm afraid it'll take even longer. Let's get rid of all the seeds first. Lin Chun stopped absorbing the seed of holy fire. He took out the seed of holy fire and began to channel the aura of the metal calamity and thunder calamity combat bodies into the seed of holy fire. In less than a day, he got rid of all the remaining wills in the remaining 12 seeds of holy fire. The seed of holy fire in Lin Chun's hand now was the purest holy fire energy. There are no impurities or wills. Even if he absorbed it, he would not be implanted with that strange will. Before Lin Chun could rejoice, a screen popped up from the system, causing Lin Chun to go wild with joy. Heavenly Tao Attribute Picking System version 4.0 has been successfully updated. Version 4.0's special rune function, new talent function, and fusion function have been unlocked. New attribute added, talent value. As this is the first time the host has unlocked the talent function, the system has randomly given a new talent for the host to use. Please check the new version of the system. The system update has unlocked many auxiliary functions. Please explore them to your heart's content. System's friendly reminder. In this update, the host has upgraded most of the basic values to intermediate values. The ratio is 100 million points equal to 1 point. For example, 1135. 7 billion basic blood chi energy equals 11,357 middle blood chi energy. Lin Chun could not wait to open the system. A brand new system panel appeared. Heavenly Tao Attribute Picking System version 4. 0 Host. Lin Chun Cultivation. Heaven Dipper Realm Stage 9 Initial Stage. Limit 7200 Dragon Power. Intermediate Blood Chi Energy. 11357 Intermediate Battle Chi Essence. 13995 Intermediate Spiritual Power. 1-5 Initial Stage of Law Phase. Intermediate Cultivation Soul Essence. 5 Heavenly Tao Points. 4350 Intermediate Rune Energy. 7 Talent Value. 0 Intermediate Elemental Energy. 8. 2 for Fire. 8 for Earth. 8 for Wood. 14 for Metal. 8 for Water. 14 for Lightning. 9 for Wind. 4 for Light. 8 for Dark. Cultivation Technique Status Column. Open or not. Bloodline Energy. Maximum of 3 types Green Dragon Bloodline, 50,000 points. Purple Golden Pupil Bloodline, 10,000 points. Talent. Destin 1. One-time talent triggered passively. If the host is in a life or death situation, this talent will be triggered to heal the host's injuries once. If the host's head is completely destroyed, this talent will not be triggered. Special Runes. Level 3 Slowing Rune. Level 3 Corrosion Rune. Level 3 Charging Rune. Level 3 Illusion Rune. Treasures in Possession. 2 Special Rune Evolution Stones. 77 Level 5 Pills. 321 Level 5 Herbs. 37 Level 6 Herbs. 3 Level 6 Pills. 30 Intermediate Blue Rank Battle Skills. 18 Advanced Blue Rank Battle Skills. 3 Pinnacle Blue Rank Battle Skills. 39 Level 5 Treasured Equipment. Lin Chun realized that his system had become more diverse and simpler. His cultivation technique status column had been folded up. As long as he wanted to see it, he could open it at any time. Next, all his basic attribute points had been upgraded to intermediate attribute points. The ratio was 100 million points to 1. At this moment, Lin Chun realized that there was an additional fusion button in the system. System Notification. The fusion function can fuse multiple items of the same type. For example, cultivation techniques, pills, herbs, rare ores, treasure equipment, and so on. The host will consume an indefinite amount of Heavenly Tao points to use the fusion function. Tapping on the fusion function, Lin Chun curiously issued an order. System, fuse all the cultivation techniques below the Advanced Blue rank. Cultivation techniques below the Advanced Blue rank were no longer of much use to Lin Chun. To the previous Lin Chun, it could be said that they were of little value to him. Now, he could use them to test the waters of this new fusion function. After tapping on the Confirm button again, Lin Chun's Heavenly Tao points disappeared by 150 points. The 30 Intermediate Blue rank cultivation techniques were thrown into the furnace formed by the fusion function. Boom, boom, ding. The furnace let out a crisp sound. 6 Advanced Blue rank cultivation techniques were newly created. Fusion result: 2 movement battle skills, 3 offensive battle skills, 1 defensive battle skill. Lin Chun's mouth was slightly agape. There were actually 6 Advanced Blue rank cultivation techniques. Ha ha ha. This fusion function is too damn awesome. I want to fuse all the Advanced Blue rank cultivation techniques recorded in the system. Chapter 369. Lin Chun clicked on the fusion function again and clicked on the confirm function. This time, he had 900 Heaven Path points deducted. The 18 high-level blue skills and the 6 that Lin Chun had just obtained were all integrated into the 24 skills. This time, Lin Chun felt a little uneasy. There had to be at least 1 top-level blue skill among the 24 high-level blue skills. He already had 3 top-grade blue rank cultivation methods in his possession, but all of them were offensive. Lin Chun had the Shadow Dragon Palm and the Heavenly Dragon Renegade. What he lacked the most was top-level blue skills other than offensive skills. Even among the ancient families, top-level blue skills were the best. Among the Holy Fire-level geniuses, there were less than 10 of them who possessed top blue combat skills. As Lin Chun looked on in anticipation, the furnace shook and roared again. Boom! Boom! Ding! Ding! 2 skills that were surrounded by clouds and glowed with a faint blue light floated outside the furnace. He nervously tapped on the two skills, and the system displayed them. Top blue rank movement technique, astral trampling thunder. Top blue rank offensive technique, cloud dragon saber technique. He got it. A top-level blue body movement skill. Lin Shen jumped up in excitement. Although the second skill would not be of much help to him, a top-level blue body movement skill was worth it. A body movement skill of this level was priceless in the spiritual state. Even an ancient family with a strong foundation might only have one or two top-level blue body movement skills. Moreover, this was one of the skills with the highest elemental attribute, the Thunder Body movement skill. System: I want to learn Thunder Crusher. Inheriting Thunder Crusher requires 3 middle-level skill essence. Are you sure you want to inherit it? 3 middle-level skill essence was equivalent to 300 million beginner skill essence, which was the same as Azura's Wrath. Yes, Lin Shen's mind was filled with the memories from the inheritance. He quickly absorbed them. With the spiritual power of a Dharma, he absorbed the memories at an extremely fast speed. In 2 hours, Lin Shen had thoroughly fused with this brand new movement technique. The Astral Trampling Battle Thunder is divided into 2 levels: 1,000 Lightning Shadows Instant and Astral Trampling Teleportation. So this is a top-tier blue rank movement technique. I wonder how many times faster than the Wind Prison Hades step? Lin Shen, who had fused with the inherited memories, exclaimed in amazement. However, if he was traveling normally, he would still use the Wind Prison Hades steps first. This was because the amount of battle chi consumed by the Astral Treading Thunder combo was truly terrifying. System: I want to use 2 Rune Evolution Stones to evolve the Phantom Rune and Slow Rune. Received. The Phantom and Slow Runes have been upgraded to level 4 characteristic runes. It consumed less rune energy and was more effective. The Phantom Rune can double the damage received, and you can use up to 3 doppelgangers at the same time. The previous Phantom Rune could only use 2 doppelgangers at most, but now he could use 3 at most. Moreover, it required less rune energy to display even more power. I've been here for so long. It's time to go out. Lin Shen realized that the battle chi imprint that he had left on Lung Yueqi and the other 2 was not triggered. This proved that they were not in danger. It seemed like the young man in purple did not come to the Deadland. Perhaps he was not interested in the others at all. The young man in purple's life level was different from the rest. To him, the holy fire-level geniuses were like tiny aphids. It was impossible for him to kill everyone just to kill the aphids in his eyes. The most he could do was to step on the aphids when they were in front of him. Lin Shen activated his purple phoenix wings and left the area of the Golden Thunder combo. Outside the Deadland, Han Yiji and the rest were quietly waiting for Lin Shen's return. Yin Xinyan informed them that Lin Shen was fine, so Lung Yueqi and the other 2 waited outside quietly. Otherwise, according to Lung Yueqi's character, she would have rushed in after not seeing Lin Shen for a few days. A beam of purple flame and green light flashed by. Lin Shen's figure appeared outside the thundercloud area. Class Monitor. Lin Shen, Han Yiji, and Lung Yueqi were overjoyed and immediately flew over. Why did you take so long to come out? What happened inside? We all heard that there was a battle inside. Han Ziyan rebuked. Lin Shen was about to say something when he saw Yin Xinyan on the other side, looking at him with a complicated expression. She was touched, sighed, and hesitant. A person appeared inside. He's very powerful. His cultivation level is the same as mine, but his ability is comparable to a Heaven Star border level. 3. Lin Shen's words were shocking. The 3 of them were shocked. Hearing Lin Shen's tone, did he not encounter someone more powerful than him in the Deadland? Ms. Yin Xinyan, do you know anything? At this moment, Lin Shen asked Yin Xinyan with a deep meaning. Yin Xinyan, who was always elegant and refined, actually showed hesitation and hesitation. She wanted to say something, but stopped. Boom! Suddenly, 7 figures surrounded Lin Shen. Lin Shen, hand over the Saint Flame seed that was bestowed by the Saint Flame. You can't eat so many Saint Flame seeds alone. How can we let you take all the secrets of heaven and earth? The leader of the 7 people, Ling Tian and Ning Fan of the Ning family, said coldly, which made Lin Chen frown. These guys actually want to rob him? There were hundreds of geniuses on the scene who were also surprised by this scene. Led by Ling Tian and Murong Changsheng, Ning Fan of the Ning family, Ning Yunlan, Shui Hao the Shui family, Yi Qingyu, Yi Yinxia. They actually wanted to rob Lin Chen. Among these people, 6 of them were experts in the top 8. Among the 5 heavenly kings, 3 of them were experts. Among them, Ling Tian and Murong Changsheng wanted to kill Lin Chen from the bottom of their hearts. They were defeated by Lin Chen and were defeated by an 8th-level Heaven Dipper Realm expert. They felt that they had suffered a great humiliation and couldn't swallow it at all. Lung Yueqi and Han Yizhi immediately stood beside Lin Chen, ready to fight. Lin Chen stood in front of them and said to the 7 people with a mocking smile, "Oh, want to rob? I think you guys are tired of living. How dare you rob your ancestor?" Lin Chen glanced at Yi Yinxia and Yi Qingyu and raised his eyebrows slightly. "Yi Yinxia, you also want to meddle in other people's business?" Yi Yinxia smiled bitterly and said helplessly, "I still lack a Saint Flame seed. If Sir Lin Chen is willing to give me one, Yinxia will leave immediately. In that case, I won't be polite. You guys are courting death." A murderous intent flashed across Lin Chen's eyes. "Lin Chen, don't talk nonsense here. Don't think that you are invincible just because you have a special technique to avoid the Heavenly Dipper Golden Lightning. This time, the 7 of us will join forces. Who do you think you are?" Ling Tian, who was the leader, sneered and suddenly drew his Dragon Abyss 7-star sword. In an instant, the atmosphere became tense and tense. Chapter 370. The 7 of them surrounded Lin Chen from all directions. Although Lin Chen had become the strongest ancient family member this time, there were 3 heavenly king-tier powerhouses among the 7 of them. Lung Yueqi and the others wanted to help Lin Chen, but Lin Chen signaled them with his eyes, and they quietly stood behind him. Luo Qingyu stood at the side, frowning slightly. She wanted to help Lin Chen, but she was hesitant. Don't give him a chance to activate his cultivation technique. Attack together. Murong Changsheng formed a seal with his hands, and his mind power swept through the sky like a tsunami. The other 6 immediately followed Murong Changsheng and activated their cultivation techniques. Colorful battle auras filled the sky. The spectating geniuses shook their heads. No one thought that Lin Chen could fight against 7 people at once. Apart from Ning Yunlan, the 7 of them were all ruthless characters. The team they formed could almost do whatever they wanted in the Sacred Fire Realm. "You want to get a share of the loot from me? You're dreaming." Lin Chen's shoulders shook, and his aura split the sky. He looked disdainfully at the world and intimidated the 9 heavens and 10 lands. Lin Chen had already absorbed 2 sacred fire seeds. In addition, his cultivation had reached mid-stage level 9. When he activated the 9 calamities of creation, there was a faint destructive aura. In the blink of an eye, a grayish-white talisman flashed. The mid-grade rune energy in Lin Chen's system immediately decreased by 1 point. It was equivalent to 100 million points of elementary rune energy. Slow rune. Boom. Murong Changsheng and Ling Tian had just sensed that Lin Chen was about to activate that strange secret technique, but they didn't have the chance to react. The rune of deceleration seemed to have frozen the space within a radius of 100 miles. Everyone's battle, chi circulation, and movement became extremely sluggish. The slow rune this time was a level 4 slow rune. It wouldn't be a problem to seal a few Yuan venerates. The expressions of the 7 people present changed drastically. In an instant, the purple phoenix wings spread out. Lin Chen's body was like a thunderbolt, surrounded by endless lightning. The Thunder Calamity battle body was activated. His figure moved slightly, and a thunderous rumble reverberated in the sky. Bang! 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 The 7 of them spat out blood at the same time. The dark dragon's energy that had pierced through their battle-chi defenses was crazily attacking them, causing them to suffer heavy injuries on the spot. The dragon's shadow flashed, and a massive dragon body appeared and disappeared mysteriously, instantly appearing in the void. The ancient azure dragon opened its mouth and swallowed Ning Fantian, Ning Yunlan, and Shui Hao the Ning family on the spot. Its dragon power tore them apart and swallowed them into its stomach. The moment it swallowed the 3 of them, it swept its tail and sent Yi Yinxia and Yi Qingyu of the Yi family flying. The palm wrapped in lightning slowly penetrated Murong Changxing's body. He died with his eyes wide open. With his other hand, he grabbed towards Ling Tian's direction. At the last moment, he condensed all his battle chi into a sword and broke through the restraints of the slowing rune. At the same time, a dazzling spatial light bloomed from his chest, tearing open a spatial crack and taking him away. Crackle. Before he left, one of Ling Tian's arms was caught by Lin Chen's Thunder Calamity energy and crushed into nothingness. Host has received 1 point of mid-grade fire attribute energy, 2 points of mid-grade rune energy, 1 point of mid-grade spirit power, 1 point of mid-grade wind attribute energy. Host has received 1,500 heavenly Tao points, 6 points of mid-grade cultivation technique essence, 1,300 points of mid-grade battle chi essence, 890 points of mid-grade blood essence. Host has received 6 attribute light balls of cultivation technique, 5 types of high-grade blue rank combat techniques, and 1 type of top-grade combat technique. Lin Shun picked up the dozens of attribute light balls that fell into the void. Although the number of attribute light balls seemed to have decreased, in fact, the increase in attribute points had increased because the ratio of low-grade attribute points to mid-grade attribute points was 100 million points equals 1 point. Lin Shen's expression was so calm that it gave people goosebumps when he casually caught the spirit receiving rings of the few dead geniuses that the ancient azure dragon spat out. It was as if he didn't kill a few people, but a few insects with a casual slap. Silence. A deathly silence. The hundreds of onlookers, and even Yin Qingyun fell into a daze. None of the people present could see when Lin Shun had made his move. The speed of his movement technique was completely different from when he was on the Battle Dragon platform. He used a level 4 slowing rune to seal the 7 geniuses. Even the space around them became abnormally stiff, giving them no chance to use their life-saving weapons. After that, his movement technique was so fast that it was beyond everyone's imagination. Before they could react, Ning Yunlan, Ning Fantian, and Shui Hao of the 10 great geniuses died under the dragon's mouth. Of the 3 heavenly kings of the 5 great heavenly kings, 1 was dead and 2 were injured. This happened in less than a breath's time. Only 3 of them, who could be said to be the strongest lineup in the Holy Fire Realm, survived. Among the 3 of them, 2 of them seemed to have been saved by Lin Chen's mercy. His strength was just too terrifying. If he had this kind of strength, he would have swept across the Battle Dragon platform. They're dead. It seems like they're really dead. Shui Hao and the other 2 were swallowed by the ancient azure dragon. Even Murong Changxing was killed by him in an instant. My God, what kind of strength is this? Everyone, including Yin Qingyun, felt a sense of fear and panic in their hearts. The might of Lin Chen's strength already exceeded their scope of understanding. Some of the geniuses thought that he wasn't a young cultivator of this generation at all. Instead, he was an old monster who had disguised himself and sneaked into the Holy Fire Realm. He has become stronger again. After fighting with that descendant of God, he is transformed by a few levels again. Yin Qingyun was shocked. Even though she couldn't see through Lin Shen completely, she was certain that Lin Shun had already shown his true strength when he participated in the Battle Dragon platform. There was only one possibility for him to be so strong now, and that was that he had an amazing, fortuitous encounter in the land of dead silence. When encountering a descendant of God, even if one had a great fortuitous encounter, it might still be snatched away. The only thing that could become a fortuitous encounter was perhaps encountering a descendant of God. When an ordinary person encounters a descendant of God, only death awaits them. Not only did he do the opposite, but he also dared to show his claws and teeth to the descendant of God. It's as if he has plundered the descendant of God's luck and grew rapidly. In the records of the Yin family's fortune teller, there has never been such a person. Perhaps he's more trustworthy than that black star. Yin Xinyun fell into a dilemma. After that, she seemed to have made a huge decision. The way she looked at Lin Shun was extremely determined. Initially, she entered the Holy Fire Realm to look for the owner of the Black Star. However, the owner was a descendant of God. Such a creature treated humans like ants. It was too dangerous to get close to him. Moreover, the so-called God was also not a trustworthy person according to the Yin family's records. However, Lin Shen's extraordinary rise made her feel that he had more potential than a descendant of God. He was also more trustworthy and worthy of her trust. Chapter 371. After killing Murong Changsheng, Lin Shun obtained 1 point of intermediate mind power, which was equivalent to 100 million points of beginner mind power. This was an unprecedentedly high value for mind power. This increased the number of mind seeds in his mind from 15 to 25. The more mind seeds he had, the stronger Lin Chen's mind dharma idol would be. Although his mind power had increased, he was still a distance away from reaching the mid-4 phase dharma idol. Through this battle, Lin Shun was once again certain that his combat strength had improved by leaps and bounds with the version 4.0 attribute picking system. Previously, Lin Shen's combat strength was at most comparable to an ordinary mid-second level Yuan Venerate or even a late second level Yuan Venerate. Now, he was not afraid even if he faced an early third level Yuan Venerate. Although he was not confident that he could defeat the purple-robed young man if he faced him again, at least he would not be as pathetic as before. Han Yizhi and the others were happy for Lin Shun from the bottom of their hearts. Lin Shun raised his eyebrows playfully when he saw that Yin Qianyun was staring at him with a different gaze than before. "What's wrong, Beauty Yin? Are you smitten with my handsome face? Let's make things clear first. You can like me, but you can't fall in love with me." Yin Qianyun covered her mouth and chuckled before speaking seriously. "Lin Shun, are you willing to cooperate with me? Let's escape from the disaster that is about to befall the spiritual state." Yin Qianyun's words were so shocking that Lin Shun was dumbfounded. Cooperation? Escape? Why did it sound like elopement? She waved her hand gently and created a space barrier to protect everyone. Yin Qianyun revealed her purpose for entering the Holy Fire Realm. 10 years ago, a certain elder of the Yin clan divined the fate of the heavens. That elder was originally just helping Yin Qianyun to predict her future. However, he had not expected to use Yin Qianyun's future to see the disaster that was about to befall the spiritual state. In the near future, the spiritual state would undergo an earth-shattering change within a certain period of time. It could be a few years, a dozen years, or even 100 years. This earth-shattering upheaval had many hidden mysteries. Many storms would converge into a disaster that would involve all the ancient families in the chaotic storm. As for the Yin family, it was possible that they would face a calamity. It was possible that even his only successor would be buried. The only way to avoid this disaster and preserve a trace of hope was to find the black star in Yin Qianyun's fate. When Yin Qianyun grew up, she would have to predict her own fate. The black star would lead her to holy fire level. The true form of the black star was that descendant of God. No one had expected this outcome. However, the descendants of the gods were too illusory. They had always thought highly of themselves and disdained to associate with mortals. If one approached them rashly, it was very likely that they would end up in a miserable state. But then, a fateless Lin Shun had appeared out of nowhere. Not only did he display his extraordinary splendor on the battle dragon platform, he even dared to bare his claws and fangs at the descendant of a god. This caused Yin Qianyun to change her target to Lin Shun. Perhaps he would do even better than the descendant of a god. He was also more worthy of Yin Qinyun's trust. Although Lin Shun was still a distance away from the descendant of a god, it was not difficult to see Lin Chen's insane growth speed from the Battle Dragon Ring until now. Therefore, Yin Qinyun changed her original plan. She would choose Lin Shun to help the Yin family and herself avoid the chaotic storm that would occur in the spiritual state in the future. So that guy really is a descendant of a god. Damn it, no wonder he has some skills. But I, Lin Shun, am not someone to be trifled with now. After hearing Yin Qinyun's explanation, Lin Shun touched his chin and came to a realization. The three people next to him were shocked and dumbfounded. Lin Shun actually fought with the descendant of God? This was too crazy. This was something that no one would even dare to think about. Class rep, you're my idol. Han Yiji was like an innocent child. Her bright eyes sparkled as she stared at Lin Shun longingly. Lin Shun lifted Han Yiji's white chin and said in a deep voice, "Don't be infatuated with the class representative. Your class rep is just a legend." Han Yiji's little face turned red, and the redness reached her ears. Han Ziyun and Lung Yuechi beside her asked worriedly in unison, "Won't this cause trouble? The opponent is a descendant of a god." Thinking of the opponent's background, such a supreme existence was like an ant trying to shake a tree compared to any ancient family in the spiritual state. I don't think so. He will definitely offend the descendant of a god, but the descendant of a god always looks down on us mortals and thinks that we are not on the same level as them. If the fact that Lin Shun escaped from his hands is exposed, it will be a loss to his reputation. So as long as Lin Shun doesn't appear in front of him again, it shouldn't be a big problem. Yin Qinyun smiled sweetly. This was also the reason why she bet on Lin Shun. The descendant of a god in the legends would never use his power for a mortal. This action was equivalent to insulting a creature of his level. Okay, I got the gist of it. In short, you are attracted by my charisma and want to elope with me. Oh no, you want to cooperate with me to avoid the disaster of the spiritual state. Then, please show me your sincerity. Lin Shun rubbed his chin and looked at Yin Qinyun's curvy figure with a naughty smile. Yin Qinyun looked at him in confusion and then looked at herself. She said with a faint smile, "Prince Lin Shun, do you want to see it?" "Of course I want to." Before he could finish, two beautiful figures stood in front of Yin Qinyun and smiled at Lin Shun. Lin Qingsheng immediately said seriously, "Of course, I won't even think about it. Do you think a gentleman like me would do such a shameless thing?" Yin Qinyun giggled and said with a serious face, "If you're sincere, I can calculate a lot of information for you. For example, I can calculate the natural treasures you want to get, the places you want to go, and even how many seeds of the holy fire one person can absorb." Yin Qinyun's words caused Lin Shun to rejoice as he asked with interest, "How many seeds of the holy fire can I absorb?" I can't tell if you are the only one. However, your two confidants and good friends can each absorb 2 seeds of the holy fire. This big sister can absorb 3 seeds, right?" Yin Qinyun pointed at Lung Yuechi and said seriously. Hearing this, Lin Shun took out all 7 seeds of the holy fire from his storage ring and gave them to the 3 of them. At this moment, there was no one around. When Yin Qinyun and Lin Shun were talking, all the geniuses had left. They were afraid that Lin Shun would vent his anger on them and kill them too. This holy fire seed? Yin Qinyun's eyes suddenly changed as she looked at Lin Shun in shock. She found that the holy fire seed that Lin Shun took out didn't have that wisp of eerie consciousness. It had become the purest energy of the holy fire. Chapter 372. You purified those saints. Yin Qinyun wanted to say something but stopped. She covered her mouth with her hand, as if she was afraid that she would say something wrong. However, the shock in her eyes was getting stronger. She had never seen or heard of such a thing before. There is actually someone in this world who could evolve the holy fire seed with a hidden conspiracy? Yin Qinyun felt that choosing Lin Shun was a wise decision. Seeing Yin Qinyun's shock, Lin Shun looked at the sky gloomily and mumbled softly. "Sai, I'm so annoyed. Sometimes, because I'm too handsome, people often forget about my strengths and specialties. Actually, my specialties are really my specialties." 3 days later, in the Zhenyu Mountains in the southern region of the Holy Fire Territory. The terrain of the Zhenyu Mountains was very mysterious. Those who entered the area would be unable to fly due to the strong earth energy. The strong earth energy caused the gravity to increase exponentially. Those who entered the core of the mountains would most likely be crushed into meat paste by the high quality of the earth energy. At this moment, a Class 6 Xuanwu draconic tortoise fell outside the mountains. 2 young prodigies from the Mo family were successfully rescued. They looked at the young man who had entered the mountains after killing the Xuanwu draconic tortoise with admiration and longing. He walked in the mountains. Upon closer inspection, his steps were as fast as the wind and his palms were constantly moving. Upon closer inspection, he was actually running all over the mountains with a basketball. He was ignoring the terrifying gravity. Who else could it be other than Mr. Lin? Who else could it be? He collected all the earth element light balls in the Zhenyu Mountains and left in a carefree manner. 5 days later, a similar scene occurred in the Chilly Wind Canyon. The grayish-white wind blades that erupted from the eye of the fallen wind cave were powerful enough to easily penetrate the defense of a first-level Yuan Venerate. However, many prodigies witnessed it. On that day, there were even people singing, dancing, and playing basketball in the eye of the fallen wind cave. However, Lin Fan, who was in the eye of the fallen wind cave, discovered the secret of the eye. It was actually connected to a brand new space tunnel. According to Yin Xinyun's prediction, the space tunnel would lead to an area in the spiritual state. Another 3 days later, finally, a space rainbow crossed the sky of the Holy Fire Territory. It was the light of the space exit. The Holy Fire-level dimensional tunnel appeared in an ancient city in the southern region. All of the geniuses moved closer to the exit and began to step into the space tunnel, leaving the Holy Fire level one by one. The passage would only be open for 5 days. If they missed it, they would be stuck on Holy Fire level. Only those who broke through to the Yuan Venerate realm after the Sacred Fire realm closed will be teleported away by the Heavenly Tao laws. However, the Holy Fire level would be covered in spirit-engulfing fog after it was closed. This kind of mental fog posed a fatal threat to the human race's mental strength. Those with low mental strength could easily suffer from chi deviation. To any prodigy, staying in the Holy Fire realm was a dead end. Outside the ancient city, Lin Chen's group arrived. "Lin Chen, are you really not coming with us?" Han Ziyun said reluctantly. Lin Chen shrugged and said with a smile, "Yes, I have something important to do here. Once it's done, I'll leave immediately." Lin Chen had killed 4 grade 6 ferocious beasts during this period of time and tossed all of their cores to the ancient Azure Dragon for absorption. Apart from that, he had also obtained 13 holy fire seeds. Including the one he had obtained with Lung Yueqi, he had a total of 19. With Yin Qianyun, the ancient fortune teller, and Lin Chen's purple gold pupil, it was a combination of the strong and the strong. The remaining holy fire seeds in the holy fire level's probing area were almost all taken by the 2 of them. As for the young man in purple, it was as if he had vanished into thin air. Lin Chen did not encounter him again. "Be careful, class monitor," Han Yiji said worriedly. There were too many secrets in the holy fire level. In the past, there had been too many outstanding prodigies who had stayed here. They had either broken through to the Yuan Venerate realm within a limited time or never come out again. Apart from that, after Lin Shun killed Murong Changsheng, the mystical demon catalog he had left behind had surprisingly chosen Han Yiji, who had a virtual spirit constitution. After Yin Xinyun verified that the item would not be harmful to Han Yiji, Lin Shen officially handed it over to Han Yiji. He believed that in the near future, Han Yiji might be even more outstanding than Murong Changsheng. "Take good care of him." Lung Yueqi stared at Yin Qianyun seriously. The latter smiled sweetly and nodded slightly. After watching the 3 of them enter the space tunnel, Lin Shun and Yin Qianyun left the ancient city. What do you plan to do next? Yin Xinyun asked Lin Shun as she brushed aside a strand of her hair. Let's find a place to go into seclusion first. I want to absorb the holy fire seeds and see if I can break through to the Yuan Venerate realm. Lin Shen's eyes were filled with intense anticipation. If he could step into the Yuan Venerate realm, his combat strength would undergo earth-shattering changes. Both of them had transcendent spirit, so it would not be a problem for them to stay in the Holy Fire Realm for a short period of time. Once there were any problems, Lin Shun and Yin Xinyun would retreat to the space tunnel connected to the Wind Eye in the Hailwind Canyon and leave. In a short 3 days, almost all the prodigies had left the Holy Fire Realm. When the Holy Fire Realm closed, all the Holy Fire seeds would be sealed and hidden away until the next time the Holy Fire Realm opened. Only then would it reappear. Lin Shun found 2 places similar to the Tiangang Golden Thunder Zone, based on Yin Xinyun's prediction. They were the Hailwind Canyon and the Jinyuan Mountain Range. Lin Chen obtained 10 attribute light balls from these 2 dangerous places. These 10 attribute light balls seemed very little, but each of them was of extremely high quality and had 1 point of intermediate wind or earth energy. Now, Lin Shun had 13 points of intermediate earth energy and 14 points of intermediate wind energy. He had a total of wind calamity, thunder calamity, earth calamity, and metal calamity bodies. His combat strength had soared by more than a level. In the Void Realm, in a Yang altar that rose into the sky, the beautiful woman stood on the Yang altar with her head raised. She was so beautiful that she looked like a pure and flawless lotus blooming. Space rippled slightly, as if some supreme existence had arrived in this world. Qing Xian, you said you're going to the conference? In the void, a few eyes were staring at the purple-clothed woman, and an old man questioned her doubtfully. The purple-clothed woman looked calm as she nodded slightly. After a while, the old man's hoarse voice came from the void again. Fine, go if you want to go. However, Qing Xian, remember that you are the luckiest woman in the entire spiritual state. You may be blessed by God and become the concubine of the Supreme God. I hope you know what your actions mean and don't do unnecessary things. These words made the peerless beauty's delicate body tremble slightly. Her eyes that were as beautiful as stars revealed a rare trace of complex emotions. Qing Xian understands. Thank you for your reminder, Elder. The peerless beauty replied indifferently and slowly retreated. The entire Yang altar once again regained its eternal silence. The only change was the teardrop that was about to disappear on the steps of the Yang altar. Chapter 373. The more top blue rank combat skills I collect, the higher the chances of a blue rank combat skill appearing. Inside a secluded valley, Lin Shun turned off the system after learning about the fusion function again. I'll save up a little more. In the future, I'll fuse more than 10 or 20 top-tier blue-rank combat skills together. Who knows, I might even be able to fuse a purple-tier battle skill. Level 4 Purple 11 was a legendary cultivation technique that countless Yuan venerates pursued for their entire lives. Let's absorb the Holy Flame Seed first. Lin Shen glanced at Yin Xinyun, who was sitting not far away. At this moment, she was also absorbing the Sacred Fire Seed. Yin Xinyun's cultivation was at the middle stage of the Quasi-Monarch stage. She wouldn't have come into contact with the Sacred Flame Seed, but Lin Shun was able to get rid of the will inside. In the Holy Fire Realm that was about to close, this place was extremely suitable for the two of them to cultivate in seclusion. Let's try and break through to the Yuan Venerate in one go. Lin Shun placed the 2 Holy Flame Seeds in front of him, grabbed one, and refined it into his body. Time passed, and it was the day when the Holy Fire level would be closed. Boom! An intense spatial fluctuation spread throughout the Holy Fire level, and the spatial tunnel disappeared completely. The entire Holy Fire level was engulfed in a spirit-engulfing phantom mist. Within a day, The light purple mist covered the entire holy fire level. It was everywhere. When the spirit-devouring, illusory mist rose, everything fell silent, as if all the living beings within the holy fire realm had fallen into a deep sleep. If one's spiritual power wasn't at the mid-stage of the spirit transformation realm, they wouldn't be able to last a day in the illusionary fog. It was very likely that they would experience a cultivation deviation on the day they entered the fog. Moreover, even if he had the mental strength of a mid-stage spirit transformation realm cultivator, he would only be able to last for 1.5 months. The spirit-devouring illusory mist would become thicker and thicker as time passed. In the end, whether it was the late stage of the spirit transformation realm or the peak of the spirit transformation realm, even those in the early, middle, or late transcendence realm wouldn't be able to maintain their rationality here. It was only a matter of time. Time passed quietly in the quiet holy fire realm. Other than the increasingly dense, illusory fog, there were no other changes. Lin Shun took 10 days to absorb the third sacred flame seed. The fourth was 15 days, the fifth was 25 days, the sixth was 35 days, and the seventh was 50 days. The eighth one took 70 days, and the ninth one took 110 days. A total of 315 days, including the time when Lin Shun had achieved holy fire level. It had been a year. This year, the spiritual state was in a state of turmoil, and heroes were everywhere. The most popular academy was Heavenly Song Academy. Within this 1 year, Heavenly Song Academy had produced purple merit-level geniuses one after another. As for the legends about Lin Shun, they had never stopped. Some said that he was the reincarnation of the War Emperor, while some said that he was an old monster who had disguised himself as a young man to enter the holy fire level. Some scoundrels even used Lin Shen's name to cheat people in the spiritual state, and they didn't have a good ending after being caught. No matter what, it was a fact that Lin Shun had killed many geniuses of the ancient families. Although there was a rule between the ancient families on the surface that any battle or personal grudge that happened in the Holy Fire territory could not involve the ancient families were not allowed to be involved. However, the Muron clan, who had lost one of the 4 heavenly kings, would not let the matter rest. They had attacked the Lung clan many times. Because Lin Shun was the Lung clan's representative, he was able to enter the Holy Fire territory directly because of the Lung clan. The Ning clan, the Shui clan, and the Bai clan had also secretly allied with the Muron clan to make things difficult for the Lung clan. Although Heavenly Song Academy had sided with the Lung clan in time, the undercurrents between the two sides had become more and more intense this year. And the most important person, Lin Shun, had yet to appear. Spiritual state, Sacred Sun Palace. A frost chi dragon was lying in the sky above the palace, breathing in and out frost dragon breath that could condense ice and scatter snow. Apart from that, there were also 2 dragon fire cheelants. They stepped on fire and roared, releasing a domineering aura that could dominate the wilderness. Many disciples of the Sacred Sun Palace were suffocated by the aura of the 3-rank 6 monsters. Inside the sacred hall, a handsome young man stood proudly with his hands behind his back. There was an innate nobility between his brows, causing some female disciples of the Sacred Sun Palace to throw flirtatious glances at him. In the eyes of the handsome and noble young man, there was only the gentle and elegant woman in the palace. Kanchi Saint's son, I'm sorry, but Manxing is already taken. If it were any other woman in the Sacred Sun Palace, you can choose. The 2 old women in the palace said helplessly, No, I fell in love with Miss Yun Manxing at first sight at Liang Lake. Elders, please grant my wish. Also, I wonder if Miss Yun Manxing's partner is worthy of her. Bai Tianqi's lips curled into a confident smile. At the same time, a sharp glint flashed across his eyes. The saint's son, had personally proposed marriage. If he was rejected, he would lose all face. The people of the Sacred Sun Palace understood this. Although they were one of the top forces in the first-rate forces, They couldn't afford to offend the saint's son who had been famous for a long time. The elders broke out in cold sweat. Wasn't Yin Manqing's partner Lin Shun? How could he compare to the legendary Tianqi saint's son? The spiritual state had more than 1 trillion people, and there were more than 100,000 or 1 million people named Lin Shun. 1.5 years ago, Lin Shun had only been a heaven strength realm cultivator. No matter how heaven-defying he was, he couldn't compare to a saint. Therefore, they believed that the Lin Shun who had been spreading like wildfire in the spiritual state in the past year couldn't possibly be the same person. No, my partner is more outstanding than anyone else. Yin Manqing stepped forward and smiled sweetly as if she was thinking about him. Because his name is Lin Shun. Upon hearing this name, Bai Tianqi's eyes suddenly emitted a terrifying, murderous intent. Your partner is actually called Lin Shun? In a secret valley of the Holy Fireland, when Lin Shun was refining the 8th Holy Fire Seed, Yin Qianyin had already finished absorbing the Holy Fire Seed. She had absorbed a total of 4 Holy Fire Seeds. Her talent was heaven-defying. She had tested her limit. Refining 5 Holy Fire Seeds was her limit, but she couldn't absorb any more for the time being. This was because if she refined another Holy Fire Seed, she would become a Yuan Venerate on the spot and be forcefully teleported away. She was even more shocked when she waited beside Lin Shun. Lin Shun actually absorbed 9 Holy Fire Seeds. Oh my God, this has never happened in the history of the spiritual state, right? No wonder he dared to fight against the descendant of God. He is indeed qualified to bet on the future of the Yin family. Yin Qianyin was delighted, but her expression soon turned serious. However, it has been almost a year. The soul-engulfing, illusionary mist here can already cause someone with perfect spirit transformation realm cultivation to go berserk. We don't have much time left. As soon as she finished speaking, a pure and domineering battle aura shot into the sky. F***CK. Just a little bit more. I was so close to becoming a Yuan Venerate. Lin Shen's swearing voice echoed throughout the valley. His aura was several times stronger than it had been a year ago. The moment he stepped out of the cliff, 9 pale, white, sacred marks flashed between his eyebrows. The 9 sacred marks formed the shape of a kaleidoscope and flickered slightly before disappearing. Chapter 374. At that moment, the 9-color battle spirit had completely disappeared from Lin Shen's dantian. In its place was a 9-colored natal palace with vast energy. The interior of the natal palace contained mountains and oceans, as if it was a small world of its own. After 10.5 months of seclusion, Lin Shen's cultivation had advanced from mid-stage Heaven Dipper 9 to peak Quasi-Venerate. The Battle Chi Natal Palace in Lin Shen's dantian was already 4/5 complete. The embryonic form of the Battle Chi Natal Palace was very complete, and he was just 1 step away from becoming a Yuan Venerate. Although he still had sacred fire seeds, refining 9 of them was already Lin Shen's limit. If he absorbed another one, Lin Shun had a feeling that there was a 99% chance that his body would not be able to withstand it. Apart from that, there was also a small green dragon lying in the 9-color natal palace. It was Lin Chen's ancient green dragon. Previously, Lin Shun had killed 4 class, 6 ferocious beasts, and their flesh and cores had been devoured by the ancient green dragon. After a year of accumulation, and with Lin Shen's help in refining the energy from the cores, the ancient green dragon's dragon veins had broken through to 1,000. Finally, it stopped at 1,250 dragon veins, and its pure strength had reached 12,500 dragon power. Its combat strength was close to the mid-stage Heaven Dipper 9. Forget it. I still have things to do in the Holy Fire territory anyway. Peak Quasi-Venerate it is. Lin Shen comforted himself. Yin Qianyin covered her mouth and chuckled as she hovered in front of him. Then, Prodigy Lin, shall we leave the Holy Fire territory now? No, I still have a place to go. Lin Shan was in high spirits as he smiled excitedly. That place was the 100 Venerate tomb. When he had faced the 100 Venerate tomb's living beings, He had not been able to resist them at all. Now that his strength had undergone an earth-shattering change, he wanted to explore the tomb. Underworld region, 20,000 feet under the sea. A huge tomb that spanned across the entire seabed appeared before the two of them. Lin Shun found the location of the stone door. Although the stone door was tightly shut, the crack was still there. Inside the crack, there was a thin layer of membrane that kept the seawater out, preventing it from entering the stone door. Open. The sixth layer of the dark dragon energy angrily struck out, and Lin Shen's palm shattered the stone door. Inside the stone door, there was still the tunnel filled with the rotting acid. It seems to be the remains of an ancient creature. Because its life force was not completely extinguished, some organs and parts of the body were still alive. Yin Xinyan was surprised and followed Lin Chun into the passage. This time, his entry was unimpeded. The stone door was broken, but there was no reaction from the tomb. After a few flashes, Lin Shun and Yin Xinyan arrived at the previous area. In this murky, lava-like world, blazing blood flowed in all directions. Dozens of wriggling meatballs that were as thick as jade pillars were pulsating. Yin Xinyan frowned. No girl would like this kind of place. Why would Lin Shun come here? The blood and qi inside were condensed together, binding a ball of blood. Other than the two that Lin Shun took away last time, there were still 7 left. 7 meatballs, all condensed into a high-quality blood and qi attribute ball. Lin Shen's palm struck out a few times, and the invincible Gung Jin energy swept across like snowflakes, cutting all the blood balls. The meatballs exploded, and 7 attribute light balls rolled down. Lin Shen quickly kept the attribute light balls, and the system screen popped up. Host has received 2,000 mid-grade blood and qi energy, 50 Heaven's Path points, 2,500 mid-grade blood and qi energy. A sea of blood and qi energy began to flow into Lin Shen's body. He was not afraid and absorbed all of it into his body. Previously, a single blood and qi attribute light ball here had almost broken Lin Shen's blood and qi absorption limit. Now that he had been tempered by the 9 holy fire seeds, not to mention 7 attribute light balls, even if he absorbed 70 of them together, Lin Shun would be able to refine them without any pressure. His pure strength increased from 7,200 dragon power points to 8,000, 9,000, and so on. Roar. The roar shook the entire seabed, and the living beings in the tomb seemed to be in great pain, waking up from their slumber. The area Lin Shun was in began to explode with large amounts of acid and blood. The two of them immediately activated their battle qi to defend against the surging blood. 2 huge creatures began to emerge from the surging blood. It was the 2 sky scarlet pythons. Oh, 2 sky scarlet pythons comparable to late-stage first-level Yuan Venerate. Yin Xinyan's expression turned serious, but Lin Shen waved his hand, indicating that there was no need for her to do anything. Boom! A terrifying aura was released from Lin Shen's body, causing endless waves of blood to surge. His strength had broken through 10,000 dragon power, and he had officially stepped into the Venerate realm. After reaching 10,000 dragon power, his pure strength was still rising. The 2 sky scarlet pythons roared and charged over. Lin Shun released the ancient green dragon to fight one of the sky scarlet pythons. Lin Shun activated his wind calamity battle body and took a step forward with the Hell King step. Whoosh! His figure tore through the void as Lin Shun swept to the top of the sky scarlet pythons' heads. Without even activating the charging rune, Lin Shen's 7-fold dark dragon energy dark dragon palm landed on the sky scarlet pythons' heads. Chi! Bang! The first sky scarlet python exploded on the spot. The second sky scarlet python was bound by the ancient green dragon, and Lin Shun killed it in 2 moves. The ancient green dragon bared its fangs and claws, biting and swallowing the sky scarlet python's cores. It didn't even let go of the flesh and blood on their bodies. This place seems to be collapsing. Yin Xinyan frowned. Wait a moment, I'll be back soon. Lin Shun said as he covered his body with battle chi and dived into the pool of blood where the sky scarlet pythons had appeared. He could vaguely see a green attribute light ball at the bottom of the pool of blood. Yin Xinyun stood where she was, her slender hands dancing in the air. Two jade-like battle chi hands appeared, hundreds of feet tall, supporting the blood wall that was constantly shrinking. The blood pool was extremely hot, even hotter than the lava in the Earth's core. Even though Lin Chen's entire body was covered with battle chi, his forehead was still dripping with sweat. It's getting closer and closer. Lin Shun saw that the green attribute light ball at the bottom of the blood pool was getting brighter and brighter. Lightning flashed all over his body. Lin Shun, who had activated his Thunder Calamity battle body, increased his speed by a few notches. In 2 flashes, he had rushed to the bottom of the vast blood pool. What entered Lin Chen's eyes was a palm-sized crystal core fragment. It was dark red in color. Other than that, right above the crystal core fragment was a green treasure chest decorated with beautiful crystal jades. This was the first time Lin Chen had seen a treasure chest like this. This crystal core fragment is part of a high-tier vicious beast core. Lin Chen's eyes lit up as he kept the dark red crystal core fragment. Then, when his palm touched the green crystal treasure chest, the system screen suddenly popped up. Host has opened the green crystal treasure chest. Received passive talent. Reinforced iron bones. 100 talent points. Lin Chen's eyes lit up. He had received a new talent so quickly. Chapter 375. This new talent made Lin Chen's eyes light up. In the many battles in the past, Lin Chen's recovery rate was many times faster than ordinary prodigies. Apart from the fact that he had the primordial water scripture, a large part of the reason was that his physical shell was stronger than most of the sky prides. Defensive means were important, but when facing a strong enemy, if the defensive artifact or defensive battle technique were broken through, it would be fatal. For someone like Lin Shun, even if his defense was broken, he still had a certain amount of defensive and recovery ability. If coupled with the reinforced Iron Bones talent, it would be like adding wings to a tiger. This trip is really worth it. It's time to leave. Lin Shun suppressed the ecstasy in his heart. Since he had gotten his target, there was no need to hold back. The moment the purple phoenix wings spread and activated the astral trampling battle thunder, Lin Chen's body flashed like thousands of lightning shadows. 1,000 lightning shadows. Not even leaving behind an afterimage, Lin Chen's figure seemed to have jumped through space. In just a breath, he rushed out of the blood pool. Ignoring the squirming flesh walls around him, Lin Shun put the ancient azure dragon, which had just swallowed 2 sky scarlet pythons, back into his body. Then, he grabbed Yin Xinyun and quickly rushed out of the exit. The 1,000 lightning shadows combined with the purple phoenix wing speed was as fast as light and shadow. In a few flashes, they left the tomb before an afterimage could condense. Boom! Blood burst out from the tomb and scattered on the seabed. The aura was getting weaker and weaker. At that moment, the ancient azure dragon was refining the 2 ferocious beast cores and the sky scarlet python's flesh. However, after advancing to stage 6, the ancient azure dragon's growth rate would no longer be as crazy as before after consuming stage 6 ferocious beast flesh and ferocious beast cores. Lin Shun threw the ferocious beast core fragment to the ancient azure dragon. The energy contained in the fragment caused the ancient azure dragon to enter a state of deep sleep. This ferocious beast core fragment is quite extraordinary. It might even be a peak stage 6 ferocious beast core when complete. Lin Chen was secretly shocked. What did you do? Its last strand of vitality seems to be disappearing, and it's heading towards destruction. In the deep sea, Yin Xinyun transmitted her voice curiously. I took its vicious beast core fragment. Maybe it's because of this. A sense of relief emerged in Lin Chen's heart. Not long after, the Tomb of the 100 Sovereigns might no longer exist. Senior Jin Xiaohua, your enemy, can be considered to be completely dead. I didn't let your legacy down. Lin Chun silently said in his heart for the senior that he had never met. Then, he left the Netherworld Sea. In the giant holy city of the spiritual state, where 1 billion people lived. You've gone too far. Giant Spirit City is the territory of our Han family passed down from generation to generation. How can it be taken over by your family? In the City Lord Mansion of the giant holy city, the arrogant attitude of the 4 people in the hall made the elders of the Han family furious. Your Han family is no longer an ancient family. What qualifications do you have to be in charge of an area rich in resources like Giant Spirit City? Do you really think that you can turn the tables by sending 1 or 2 rascals into the holy fire level and survive? The young man in white crossed his arms in front of his chest and glanced at the beauty in a long dress next to him. He sneered sarcastically. The young man in white carried a sword on his back, and a crimson chain-like sword aura hung above his head. It was so magnificent that it could swallow mountains and rivers. I don't care what you think. 4 days later, the Bai family will send someone to take over Giant Holy City. All of you from the Han family must get lost immediately. The young man in white was unforgiving, and his tone was sharp. The Han family members present were angry, but did not dare to say anything. This person was the most famous Heaven's Word saint of the Bai family in recent times, Bai Xingfeng. He could move mountains and seas with 1 sword, kill dozens of venerables, and frighten ghosts and gods. When the Bai family members left, the entire City Lord Mansion fell into an extremely oppressive atmosphere. In the Thousand Moon Valley, one of the territories of the Lung family, thousands of layers of snow covered the valley like frost, and intense ice energy surrounded it. At this moment, in a training field, there were reinforced spatial crystal walls everywhere. The geniuses of the Ning family and the Murong family gathered here, looking at the Lung family members opposite them mockingly. In the training field, a beautiful and cold beauty stood proudly. Blood dyed her clothes red, making her look sad and cold. At this moment, the Lung family elder stood in front of the beauty and immediately shouted, "Enough! You've already won. Why are you still humiliating Miss Yuechi?" Another woman in the training field had an exquisite figure. There was a hint of jealousy on her enchanting and charming face as she sneered. "Did you see clearly, B*TCH? Do you really think that you can contend with me just because you've entered Holy Fire level? Hurry up and get lost from Thousand Moon Valley. This place has long been a cultivation secret area jointly formed by the Murong family and the Ning family." When the Lung family geniuses heard Lung Yuechi being scolded, they were instantly furious. They stood up one after another. The Ning family members also stood up immediately. There's a tendency for a fight to break out at the scene. Forget it, we won't argue with them. If they want to occupy Thousand Moon Valley, then let them have it. The Lung family elder stopped all the young people and said with a heavy expression. Although the elders were not convinced, Lung Yuechi was still injured at this moment. If they fought head-on and something happened to Lung Yuechi, they could not bear the responsibility. Because the Murong family had lost Murong Chongqing's Murong family and 2 of the top 10 geniuses, the Ning family was about to fall out with the Lung family. Holy Fire Territory, Chilly Wind Canyon. Lin Chun and Yin Xinyun arrive at the eye of the Fallen Wind Cave. The light of the space tunnel flickered slightly. After leaving the 100 Grays Palace, Lin Chen's pure strength had reached 13,000 dragon power. System, I want to consume 100 talent points to strengthen reinforced iron bones. System received. 100 talent points consumed. Reinforced iron bones increased by 1%. A strange and unique warm current circulated around Lin Chen's body. He could clearly feel that the defense of his flesh shell had become stronger. Only he could feel the change brought about by the strengthening of his talent. Yin Xinyun beside him also did not notice it. Lin Chen was a little dazed. Before entering the Holy Fire level, he could only run away when facing a Yuan Venerate. Before the system's version 4.0 update, Lin Shin's maximum combat strength was equivalent to the mid-stage or late-stage second-level Yuan Venerate. After the version 4.0 update, Lin Shun could fight a beginner or mid-stage third-level Yuan Venerate with the help of the level 4 characteristic rune. However, his combat strength was limited by the attribute value of the characteristic rune. Now that he was at the peak of quasi-venerate, Lin Shun did not need to rely on the characteristic rune. He could fight a third-level Yuan Venerate with just a few calamity combat bodies and pure strength. At this moment, Yin Qingyun spoke. We don't know where this space tunnel leads to in the spiritual state. It might even teleport us to a ferocious beast lair. Yin Qingyun glanced at Lin Shun and smiled casually. It's okay. Since a large amount of fallen wind is teleported to the holy fire level, the other end might also be where the fallen wind energy gathers. The two of them smiled at each other and activated their defensive combat skills before leaping into the space tunnel. Space shift, stellar transposition, and the two disappeared into the spatial tunnel. The moment before Lin Shun and Yin Qingyun disappeared, they did not notice that 2 red lights suddenly flashed in the holy fire level, which was filled with a devouring, illusionary mist. It was as if a pair of eyes was watching the two of them leave. After that, the red lights disappeared and the holy fire level returned to a state of silence, as if nothing had happened. Chapter 376. 3 days later. The Nine Dragons mountain range was thousands of miles away from Giant Holy City. The mountain range was shaped like 9 intertwined dragons. 2 young figures flew out of the mountain range. They were Lin Shun and Yin Qingyun. I didn't expect to get 2 light balls of wind attribute. Hee, this is not a loss. Lin Shun looked at his 16 points of intermediate wind attribute energy with satisfaction. Tens of thousands of miles away, there's a strong smell of human life. It should be a large-scale town. Let's go and find out where we are in the spirit state. Yin Qingyun withdrew her gaze and smiled sweetly. In the afternoon, Giant Holy City, Yinxian Pavilion. Got it. This is the territory of the Han family, Giant Holy City. It's quite far from Tiange Academy. In Yinxian Pavilion, Yin Qingyun covered her face with a veil and smiled sweetly to Lin Shun beside her. Hey, beauty, what you said is wrong. From today on, this is the territory of our Bai family. At this time, 3 middle-aged men came over and laughed mockingly. They sat opposite Lin Shun and Yin Qingyun. All 3 of them were Heaven Dipper Realm Level 7 powerhouses with the symbol of the Bai family engraved on their chests. Seeing these 3 people, everyone in the restaurant was silent and didn't dare to say a word. Even a shopkeeper of Yunxian Pavilion was the same. Little girl, why are you covering your face? Take it off and let Master Hu see. Little girl, why are you with this guy? Follow me, Master Hu, and I guarantee you will live a good life in the southern district of Giant Holy City. Baiyin Hu, who had 2 scars on his face, laughed and looked at the beautiful woman's slender legs. Even with the clothes covering the slender legs, there was still an indescribable beauty. Baiyin Hu revealed a greedy and lewd smile. Lin Shun didn't make a move. He just drank his wine and winked at Yin Qingyun. Yin Qingyun understood and chuckled while covering her mouth. Oh, you are from the Bai family? Why are you here? Miss, don't you know? This is the territory of our Bai family. This Trash Han family is not even an ancient family. What qualifications do they have to rule Giant Holy City? As soon as he said that, many people in the restaurant glared angrily. The Han family had been in charge of Giant Spirit City for a long time. They had never mistreated the merchants and people here. Everyone regarded the Han family as their master. Our Bai family is the new master of Giant Spiritual City. The 2 men behind Baiyin Hu said in unison. Then, what about the Long clan? Yin Qingyun asked curiously. Baiyin Hu laughed mockingly. The Long clan? Ha ha ha. Our Bai clan's heavenward saint son is personally overseeing the Giant Spiritual City. Those trash from the Lung clan are probably packing up their things in the City Lord's mansion and preparing to scram. After hearing this, Lin Shun was suddenly enlightened. He stretched out his hand and slowly clenched it into a fist in front of the three people. Bai Inhu asked with a frown, puzzled, "What is this? Have you ever seen a fist as big as a sandbag?" Bang, bang, bang. As soon as he finished speaking, the three of them were sent flying like lightning. Blood splattered everywhere as they were sent flying by Lin Chen's fist. Their teeth were shattered. Many masters in the restaurant looked at Lin Chun in surprise and astonishment. Who was this young man? He sent 3 Heavenly Dipper Realm Level 7 masters flying with one move, and they were from the Bai family. Lin Chun flicked his finger, and 3 streams of dragon force shot out, shattering the dantian of the 3 people. Many masters were dumbfounded. He dared to cripple the Bai family? Didn't he know the trend in giant spiritual city? They were from the ancient families that even the first-rate forces had to bow their heads to. Yan Xinyun wasn't surprised at all. She asked with a smile, "What's next?" "Of course, I'm going to smash the Heaven's Word Saint's son. I, Lin Shun, don't care about life and death. If you don't accept it, just do it." Clapping his hands, Lin Chen's eyes flashed with coldness. It seemed that during the year when he was in seclusion, there were many undercurrents in the spiritual state. The 2 figures flashed and disappeared, leaving only the crystals to pay the bill. All the masters present were dumbfounded. They looked dazed and shocked. Did I hear it wrong? Did he just say to smash the Heaven's Word Saint's son? Lin Shun? Lin Shun. He is Lin Shun, the one who killed the 4 heavenly kings. He has finally appeared. The spiritual state is going to be lively. Lin Shun has killed a lot of peerless talents. The last group of people from the Lung family had gathered in the main hall of the City Lord Mansion, including Han Ziyun. In the main hall, 2 white-browed elders sat beside the Heaven's Word Saint's son. He sipped his tea leisurely, and many of the elders of the Han family looked at him with fear. The 2 white-browed elders were both at the peak of the 3rd level Yuan Venerate realm. They were the most powerful elders in the Bai family. The 2 of them and the Heaven's Word Saint's son had come to Giant Spiritual City in person. The Bai family was very determined to take over Giant Spiritual City. Han Ziyan gritted her teeth. She thought that the Han family finally had hope to rise again. But the situation had become more serious. Without the foundation and advantage of Giant Spiritual City, the Han family would lose both arms and legs. Just as everyone from the Han family was about to leave in despair, a thunderous roar resounded through the sky and echoed around the City Lord Mansion. Bulsh asterisk T Heaven's Word Saint's son, come out and die. The thunderous roar attracted the attention of all the masters above the 8th level of the Heaven Dipper realm in Giant Spiritual City. They looked at the City Lord Mansion in shock. Hearing this voice, the Han family members all shone with the light of a new life. Han Ziyun's eyes flashed as she said excitedly, "It's him. He's back." The Heaven's Word Saint's son looked gloomy. He waved his sleeves, turned into a sword aura, and disappeared. Thousands of feet above the City Lord Mansion, a young man in a silver robe attracted the attention of the surrounding masters. Where did this lunatic come from? Did he eat a bear's heart or a leopard's guts? How dare he provoke the Heaven's Word Saint's son of the Bai family? Where did this trash come from? Die! A sword light flashed across the void and shot toward Lin Shun with murderous intent. The sword light tore the sky apart like a rainbow, and it could be clearly seen from thousands of miles away in Giant Spiritual City. Lin Shun activated his Gold Calamity and Thunder Calamity battle physique and grabbed with his palm. When 13,000 dragon power points erupted, the crackling golden 7th Thunderbolt shattered the finger light into nothingness. Quasi-Venerate. A Quasi-Venerate broke the Heaven's Word Saint's son's finger technique. How is this possible? Many masters who were watching from afar gasped. The Heaven's Word Saint's son, who was flying over, was also stunned. Even an early 2nd level Yuan Venerate would not dare to take his finger technique head-on. How could a Quasi-Venerate break it with one palm? The purple flame whirlwind trembled and Lin Chen's figure shook violently. The swirling dark battle chi and pure power that could destroy mountains and rivers appeared behind the heavenward saint's son like a ghost. His expression changed on the spot. Chi! Bang! The heavenward saint's son turned into a shooting star, streaking across the sky and landing in the city lord mansion. The terrifying power lifted the earth veins, and it was earth-shattering. Lin Chen clapped his hands and said in a cold and indifferent manner, "How can you be a saint with such strength? How dare you touch the Han family? What kind of trash are you? How dare you come to Giant Spiritual City?" Chapter 377. The Heavensward Saint was enraged. He had never been so humiliated before. Although he was at the late stage of the first-level Yuan Venerate realm, in terms of combat power, an early stage of the third-level Yuan Venerate realm might not be his match. But today, he was actually sent flying by a quasi-Venerate in front of everyone. Clang! The sword roared, and a blazing sword radiance cut through the sky. The Tempest sword light burned with blazing flames that burned the sky. Like a violent storm, it slashed towards Lin Chen. The 5 dragons' imperial spear appeared in a flash, and a thunder calamity battle body shone brightly. Lin Chen's dragon power erupted as he danced with the battle spear rapidly. Layers of spear shadows and thunder radiance were pushed forward. Clang! 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 Together with the thunder calamity battle body, Lin Chen used the demonic battle thousand thunder to repel all the sword radiances. 8 barren lands. Boom! The thunder dragon roared and penetrated the void. The Heavensward Saint slashed out a red sword aura. Bang! Whoosh! Whoosh! The red sword aura was broken, and the Heavensward Saint spat out blood and retreated. Every step he took shattered the space and ground. His eyes were filled with disbelief. Was this the peak of the quasi-Venerate realm? This was even more terrifying than the mid-stage of the third-level Yuan Venerate realm. He had never seen such a terrifying quasi-Venerate. Not only the Heavenward Saint, but many Heaven Dipper realms who were watching the battle felt a lingering fear. The aftermath of the battle killed some of the Bai family's Heaven Dipper realms. On the other hand, the Han family was forced to retreat. Other than the last batch of people in the hall, no one else was left in the City Lord Mansion. Lin Chen used the Hell King's step and went straight for the Heavenward Saint. "Stop! Who are you? How dare you attack the saint of the Bai family?" 2 white-browed elders at the peak of the third-level Yuan Venerate realm appeared near Lin Chen and shouted coldly. Boom! As the lightning radiance appeared, the purple phoenix wings flapped and Lin Chen's thunder shadow flashed, leaving no afterimages behind. Just as the 2 white-browed elders reacted, Lin Chen raised his battle spear and appeared behind the Heavenly Sword Saint. The latter's face was filled with terror. The 2 old men were startled by the sight and felt their hair stand on end. What kind of abnormal speed was this? A top-tier blue rank movement technique that has been cultivated to perfection. Not good. The saint is in trouble. Just as he regained his senses, Lin Chen's 5 dragons' imperial spear smashed towards the Heavenly Sword Saint. Do you really think I'm easy to bully? The Heavenly Sword Saint's son suddenly activated his mental cultivation method and slashed back with his sword, barely blocking Lin Chen's domineering spear. The divine mark between his eyebrows was faintly discernible as he operated his mental cultivation method. You're just a saint. It's not like I haven't fought you before. You're unreasonable? I'm more unreasonable than you. The 2 people's spear and sword collided. Lin Chen's offense rose steadily. His spear shadows formed layers upon layers, leaving no gaps. When the 9 sacred marks on Lin Chen's forehead formed a kaleidoscope pattern, the 2 old men who were about to help were stunned to the spot. 9 saint marks? Could it be that this kid has absorbed 9 saint flame seeds? How could there be such a ridiculous thing in this world? Clang, clang, clang. While the 2 old men were still in shock, Lin Chen chased after them relentlessly. His spear shadows were endless as he violently swung it. The Heavenly Sword Saint's son was actually suppressed by Lin Shun to the point that he could only barely defend himself. In the blink of an eye, dozens of rounds of collision had passed. The heavenly sword Saint Sun's sword was knocked away by Lin Chen's spear. When the sword was knocked away, Lin Chen's body spun, and his legs smashed through the space crystal wall, sweeping across the heavenly sword Saint Sun's waist. Bang! The battle aura defense was broken, and the heavenly sword Saint Sun was knocked over by the kick. Then, Lin Chen stepped on the back of his head, stomping his face into the ground. 3 attribute light balls rolled down and merged into Lin Chen's arm. Host has received 1 point of mid-grade wind energy, 700 points of mid-grade battle aura essence, and 1 point of mid-grade cultivation technique soul essence. The 2 old men who were about to attack Lin Chen immediately stopped in their tracks for fear of breaking the vases. The Han family members who were watching from the side were stunned by such astonishing strength. It had only been slightly more than a year since they last saw each other. Their Lin In was actually strong enough to capture the heavenly sword Saint Sun alive in dozens of rounds. Wait a minute. Do you want to start a war with the Bai family? The 2 old men with white eyebrows shouted. The 5 Yuan venerates that the Bai family had arranged in Giant Spiritual City had also rushed to the City Lord Mansion and surrounded Lin Chen. Losing a holy son was an extremely heavy loss to any ancient family. Start a war? You dare to openly seize the Han family's territory. Isn't that the same as starting a war? If that's the case, why don't I just kill one of you first? Lin Chen chuckled as a cold look flashed across his eyes. No. If it's because of this, the Bai family will immediately withdraw from Giant Spiritual City to show our sincerity. As long as you don't hurt our Saint Son. The 2 old men with white eyebrows said hurriedly as cold sweat broke out on their foreheads. Where did this young man come from? How could his strength be so terrifying? Unexpectedly, Lin Chen kicked the heavenly sword Saint Sun's lower abdomen, causing him to cry out in pain. Sincerity? What the F***CK do you think this place is? You're already showing your sincerity by withdrawing. What nonsense are you spouting? Lin Chen sneered. Then who will be responsible for the emotional, material, and reputation losses of the Han family and the various forces here? Do you think this is a one-night stand where you don't have to take responsibility after pulling up your pants? If the Bai family doesn't give me an answer today, I, Lin Shun, won't leave any of the 7 Yuan venerates here alive, let alone this bullsh *T Saint Sun. Lin Chen's eyes flickered with a ferocious, murderous aura, completely intimidating all the powerhouses present. A quasi-venerate was actually so powerful that he dared to threaten 7 Yuan venerates present. This was under the premise that 2 of them were at the peak of the 3rd level. Wait a minute, did he just call himself Lin Shun? Could he be the Lin Shun who killed Murong Changsheng in seconds? Oh my god, he actually appeared. The powerhouses in Giant Spiritual City, who were watching from all directions, exclaimed in shock. You're Lin Shun? One of the old men with white eyebrows was shocked. Little bastard, do you really think there's no one in the Bai family? The other old man with white eyebrows sneered angrily. The battle aura in his palm was like a fierce dragon stirring up the sea, surging violently. If it was Lin Shun, today's matter would not be so simple. The top genius of the Bai family, Bai Ming, had yet to come out of the holy fire level. Many people guessed that it was Lin Shun who had killed Bai Ming, because only Lin Shun had the ability to do so. No matter who Lin Shun was today, if they were intimidated by a quasi-venerate, then the Bai family would really lose face. As the 2 sides were about to fight, an elegant and clear voice rang out like a clear spring. Everyone from the Bai family, please don't cross the line. Although the Han family is not an ancient family, we were once a part of the spiritual state and made great contributions. Don't you think your actions are a little too extreme? Yen Xinyun's purplish-black dress fluttered in the wind. She looked as beautiful as the stars as she appeared between heaven and earth. A member of the Yen family? The Yuan venerates of the Bai family were stunned. The Yin family was the most mysterious existence among the ancient families. They had only one descendant for each generation and were the true ancient fortune tellers. Although they rarely appeared in public, all the ancient families had to be wary of them when they interfered in any matter. Could this kid be related to the Yin family? Chapter 378. Could this brat be related to the Yin family? The two old men looked at each other in bewilderment before Yin Qinyun said coldly, "Everyone from the Bai family, could it be that you want to challenge the rules of the ancient families?" Although Yin Qinyun's cultivation was insignificant to the crowd, but her words and actions were enough to intimidate them. Then what does young lady Yin mean? The two white-browed old men cupped their fists cautiously. According to the Han family's request, we will compensate and apologize to them. Although Yin Qinyun's tone was calm, her attitude was firm. The two old men looked at each other and cupped their fists. Since young lady Yin has said so, in the end, the Bai family compensated the Han family with many spirit crystals and a large number of treasures. The Heavenly Sword Saint's son was not spared until Lin Shun demanded 2 low-grade rank 6 artifacts from them. When the Bai family questioned whether Lin Shun had killed Bai Ming, he denied it disdainfully, which puzzled the powerhouses of the Bai family. Lin Shin's tyrannical behavior made it seem like he had even dared to kill the Heavenly Sword Saint in front of everyone. Such a person should disdain lying because of Bai Ming. Could Bai Ming have met with some other misfortune? Many powerhouses in Giant Spirit City had witnessed the Bai family's humiliation. There was no lack of Yuan venerate powerhouses among them. Just now, Yin Qinyun's attitude, everyone saw it clearly. Besides Lin Shun, the current Han family still had the Yin family's network. Perhaps there would really be a miracle for them to return to the ranks of the ancient families. When the Bai family completely withdrew from the City Lord Mansion, the remaining members of the Han family shouted Lin Chen's name. Han Li, quickly call Elder Shou and the others back. Tell them that we don't have to move out of Giant Spirit City. Let everyone return to their familiar positions as quickly as possible. Mr. Lin In, the best thing that the Han family has done is to befriend you. The 2 Yuan venerate elders of the Han family thanked him sincerely. However, Han Zian grabbed Lin Chen's arm anxiously. Lin Shun, quickly go to the Lung family. It was said that the Murong family and the Ning family had joined hands and secretly attacked the Lung family many times. They are especially targeting Sister Lung Yueqi. I heard that even Sister Lung Yueqi's cultivation mystic realm is about to be occupied. Han Ziyun's anxious expression made Lin Chen's expression change slightly. You dare to bully my teacher, Yu Qi? Seeing Lin Chen's expression, Yin Qinyun couldn't help but have a headache. It's over. I have to deal with this guy's aftermath. The Murong family and the Ning family are also involved. With Lin Chen's stubborn temper, he even dared to hit a descendant of a god. Just the Ning family and the Murong family would be enough to turn the entire spiritual state upside down. One day later, in the Lung clan's territory outside the Thousand Moon Valley, when Lin Shen arrived, it just so happened that a branch family of the Lung Yu clan was stationed nearby. Lin Shan went straight to the spatial barrier of the branch family's headquarters. After showing his Lung family token, he entered the ancient Nether Pavilion almost unimpeded. On the 3rd floor of the ancient Nether Pavilion, many masters of the Lung clan who had evacuated from the Thousand Moon Valley gathered here. The atmosphere in the hall was still heavy when the door was pushed open. Teacher Yuqi. Lin Shun rushed in hurriedly. Lung Yueqi, who was sitting in the hall, was stunned. You finally came out of seclusion. Lung Yueqi happily walked towards Lin Shun. Lin Shun grabbed the beautiful woman's arm and hurriedly activated his purple-golden eyes. He confirmed that Lung Yueqi was not in any life-threatening danger other than some external injuries and some internal injuries. Without saying anything, Lin Shun pulled Lung Yueqi into his arms. The mature beauty's cold cheeks were dyed with a layer of red. Everyone is still here. Lung Yueqi, whose cheeks were red, struggled slightly in Lin Chen's arms. Teacher Yuqi, don't worry. Those who bullied you, I will make them pay back tenfold. Lin Chen's eyes flashed with a fierce light. Don't act recklessly. The situation is very dangerous now. If you appear, they might besiege and kidnap you. Lung Yueqi hurriedly advised. Lin Chen's lips curved into a cold smile. That depends on whether they have the ability to do so. Miss Lung Yueqi, it's not like you don't know his temper. Yin Qinyun, who was following behind, said helplessly. Although Lin Chen's potential was strong, he was not careless when it came to causing trouble. Ha ha, this is Lin Chen, right? You are indeed a man of character. This time, our Lung clan has 3 more opportunities to become holy sons and holy daughters because of Lin Chen. Our Lung clan will never forget this kindness. Lin Chen, you don't have to put yourself in danger. Yes, bear with it for a while, and the wind will be calm. The many elders of the Lung clan cupped their fists politely to Lin Chen. By the way, may I ask if this young lady is from the Yin clan? 2 experienced green-robed elders suddenly cupped their fists solemnly to Yin Qinyun, who was behind Lin Chen, and asked respectfully. My name is Yin Qinyun. Greetings, seniors. Yin Qinyun bowed gracefully. She was so beautiful that everyone in the Lung clan greeted her respectfully. This Lin Chen was too terrifying. Even the daughter of the Yin clan could follow him around. No wonder he was the most famous person in the spiritual state recently. How can we let those guys go? They even called Sister Yueqi a whore and bullied her because they were younger than her. That's right, if the elders didn't stop them in time, Sister Yueqi might have been beaten to death by that woman. At this time, a few young girls in the hall couldn't take it anymore and muttered. Then, they were glared at by the elders and didn't dare to speak again. However, Lin Chen heard everything in his heart and suddenly smiled. Everyone present, we will return to the Thousand Moon Valley tonight. Everyone was stunned. The Thousand Moon Valley was occupied by the 2 big clans. How could they return? Teacher Yueqi, those guys who wronged you, none of them can run away. Lin Chen stroked the beautiful woman's hair, and a fierce light flashed in his eyes. Thousand Moon Valley, late at night. The valley was rich in ice energy, and many people took this opportunity to enter a state of cultivation. In a boudoir in the Thousand Moon Valley, a few black shadows flashed past. The leader of the group hid at the door of the boudoir, flipped his palm, and pulled. The few black shadows broke the door and entered, and a powerful and terrifying aura surged in the boudoir. The leader of the black-clothed men flicked his finger, and a gray talisman appeared. The gray talisman exploded, and the entire space in the boudoir froze, becoming extremely slow. The woman in the room realized that even her dantian and natal palace had become as slow as a tortoise, and she was terrified. The black-clothed men immediately rushed in and captured her. The leader of the black-clothed men took out 2 bottles of treasures. In his left hand, there was a bottle full of twisting eels. In his right hand, there was a bottle of lively mantis shrimp. How dare you bully my teacher, Yueqi? Brother Chen will let you know what hell is like on earth. The black-clothed man laughed evilly like a demon. He was the last to enter the room and slowly closed the door. Chapter 380. Late at night, Lin Chen sat cross-legged on a mountain peak in the Thousand Moon Valley. After capturing the saint and saintess, Lin Chen had obtained quite a number of elemental light balls, a large number of treasures and skills. Among them, he had found a battle technique that interested him from the Flying Dragon Saint. Top Blue rank battle technique, Phantom Wind Demon Kick. Extreme speed and extreme attack. It's best for wind elemental battle force users. If it's used by someone with great speed or a strong physique, it'll be like adding wings to a tiger. This battle technique could be used for both long-range and close-range attacks. It could also be used by someone with great speed and physique. It was very suitable for him. The Black Dragon Palm's attack mode was very simple and could only be used for close-range attacks. If someone with a secret technique, like his purple gold eyes, could see through it, the effect would be greatly reduced. System, I want to learn this phantom wind demon kick. System received. Consumed 3 intermediate cultivation technique soul essences. Transmitting shadow wind demon kick to the host. Due to the system's update and Lin Shen's increase in spiritual power, the transmission of this battle technique was completed in less than 4 hours. After receiving the phantom wind demon kick, Lin Chen continued to fuse treasures. System, I want to fuse all the treasures. Host has a total of 87 5th-level treasures. Among them, 19 are top-level 5th-level treasures and 6 are low-level 6th-level treasures. Fusing all of them will consume 1,300 Heaven's Path points. Furthermore, the treasures produced will be completely random. Are you sure you want to fuse them? Yes. Although there were many treasures, none of them were the type that Lin Chen wanted. Rather than wasting them, he might as well try his luck and see if he could get a high-level one. The system furnace absorbed all the treasures and began to fuse them. Boom, boom, ding, ding. In just 3 breaths, the fusion was complete. Lin Chen glanced over and saw 2 brand new treasures appear before his eyes. One of them was a robe that flowed with multicolored light, while the other was an ice crossbow that could be worn on the wrist guard. Mid-level, 6th-level treasures. Spirit Illusion Cloak. Mid-level, 6th-level treasures. Dragon Frost. Spirit Illusion Cloak. After wearing it, one's outer appearance can be disguised. It can change one's facial features, increase one's movement speed by 30%, and increase one's battle chi defense by 30%. It can only be used by those below the 7th level of the Yuan Venerate realm. Above the 7th level, the effects will be halved. Dragon's Breath of Ice, condensing the scales of the frost dragon, refining the dragon's breath of 10,000 years. The arrow shot out is like an arrow from the sky, freezing everything within 10,000 miles. After receiving the information of these 2 treasures, Lin Chen's jaw dropped. Good stuff. I've made a fortune. This Dragon Breath Glacial Ice is perfect for Teacher Yu Qi. Satisfied, Lin Chen turned off the system, and 2 treasures appeared in his hands. He put on the Spirit Illusion Cloak and instantly turned from a young man to a cold middle-aged man. Thousand Moon Valley, in a secret cultivation room. Lung Yueqi suddenly opened her beautiful eyes and an ice spout appeared in her hand. She aimed at the middle-aged man at the door of the secret room. Who is it? How dare you trespass into my Lung clan's cultivation mystic realm? Lin Shan was overjoyed. He didn't expect that even Lung Yueqi wouldn't recognize him. It's me, Teacher Yu Qi. After removing the camouflage effect of the Spirit Illusion Cloak, Lin Shan revealed his true appearance. Lung Yueqi was slightly surprised. How did you become like that just now? You look like an uncle. Hee, that's not important. What's important is that I have a gift for you. Lin Shan handed the Dragon Breath Glacial Ice to Lung Yueqi. The beauty was shocked. She was first surprised, then delighted. This item was a perfect match for her ability. With this item, her combat strength would increase by several times. After returning to the Lung clan from the Holy Fire level, Lung Yueqi had been nurtured by the Lung clan and was now an early-stage quasi-venerate. She could barely use the mid-grade rank, 6 Dragon Breath Glacial Ice. Once she became a Yuan Venerate, she would be able to control it perfectly. Although this item is good, it's better to keep it for your own use. It's good to have a little more strength to protect yourself. Lung Yueqi wanted to return the item to Lin Shan, but he chuckled. I'm giving this to you, Teacher Yu Qi. Besides, have you forgotten? I'm a spear user. Lin Shan smirked and leaned forward slightly. The beauty cried out in surprise, and a touch of red appeared on her cold and enchanting face. Lin Shan was a little dazed by the sight. Lin Shan couldn't help but hug Lung Yueqi and kiss her. In the secret chamber, a hint of spring was overflowing. Under the passionate atmosphere, their lips parted. Lin Shan stared at Lung Yueqi restlessly. She pressed her slender fingers against Lin Shan's lips and breathed softly. Idiot, now is not the time. My heart technique hasn't reached perfection. If I lose my virginity, all my previous efforts will be wasted. Why is it like this again? It was the same last time. I can only look at it, but not eat it. Lin Shun was so angry that he wanted to fight with his brothers. Suddenly, he stared at the cold beauty's beautiful lips and smiled mischievously as usual. I almost forgot about this. A breathtaking scene was reflected in Lin Chen's eyes. Unfortunately, the secret chamber was tightly shut. Besides Lin Shun, no one could appreciate it. The next day, Lin Shun bid farewell to the Lung clan. Lung Yuechi focused on cultivating in the Thousand Moon Valley. This cultivation's secret realm was given to Lin Shun by the Lung clan. Lin Shun and Yin Qinyun went in the same direction and officially returned to the Heavenly Song Academy together. 2 days later, Lin Shun and Yin Qinyun arrived at the Sacred Fire Mountain Range. The two landed in the Phoenix City of the Sacred Fire Mountain Range and rested for a while. Many wedding escorts passed through the city happily and poured into the mountain range. Whose family is holding a wedding? It's so grand. Lin Shun casually took a bite of a local specialty skewer. Yin Qinyun was holding a candy man next to him, her eyes shining. Little brother, you still don't know? Today is the day that the Bai clans Saint Sun Tianqi and the Sacred Sun Temple become in-laws. The old man selling the candy man smiled. Lin Shun was interested. Oh, didn't they say that the Saint's son is high and mighty? Why would he take a fancy to a girl from the Sacred Sun Temple? This Saint's son's eyesight is not shallow. The girl he took a fancy to is the famous eldest disciple of the Sacred Sun Temple. The old man sighed. This girl is kind and often helps us, the commoners in the surrounding towns. She gives us land and even accepts refugees to cultivate. She is really a blessing to our sacred Fire Mountain Range. I heard her name is Yun Manqing. Hearing this name, the skewer in Lin Chen's hand dropped. At this moment, a little girl who was passing by curiously pulled her senior martial sister's hand and pointed at Lin Shun as she asked curiously, Senior sister, why is that big brother's hat green?" The Sacred Sun Temple was like a tide coming from all directions. The entrance of the Sacred Sun Temple was as crowded as a marketplace. This time, the marriage between the Bai clan Saint Sun and the Sacred Sun Temple had alarmed countless first-rate forces. To be able to establish a relationship with the Saint's son of an ancient family, the Sacred Sun Temple would soar into the sky in the future. Now is the best time to curry favor. In a joyous boudoir, the bride was wearing a phoenix crown and a green jade hairpin. She was extremely beautiful. Elder Xian, are you really going to push me onto the road of no return? Yin Manqing pointed the scissors at her neck, her eyes slightly red. Manqing, why do you have to do this? This saint's son of the heavenly Qilin clan is handsome and talented. What's wrong with him? Furthermore, if we offend him, our Sacred Sun Temple will not have a good ending. A beautiful elder with bright makeup sighed helplessly. Then, she continued, you should forget about that little lover of yours. Feelings can be nurtured. Now that your battle chi is restricted, you can't commit suicide even if you want to. Why do you have to torture yourself? Yin Manqing gritted her teeth, her expression cold. I, Yin Manqing, will only marry one person in my life. If you insist on marrying me to this person, then I promise that I will sever all ties with the Sacred Sun Temple. Sai Manqing, you are still young. There are some things that you can't decide on your own. You will understand in the future. The beautiful woman waved her hand and flicked away the scissors in Yun Manqing's hand. Chapter 381. Sky Song Academy, Battle Arena Number 4. Many students were paying close attention to Battle Arena Number 4. Young Merit versus Young Merit, and it was a team battle. This kind of battle was rare. Bang! Bai Juanhao and Ying Liang, who were wearing green medals, were knocked down. At the same time, they fell to the ground. Blood flowed from the corners of their mouths, and their eyes were filled with unwillingness. Lin Shan should really feel ashamed for the dog he raised. With such little strength, he still dares to come out and cause trouble. The two young meritocrats sneered, and the two figures outside the arena watched this scene with interest. Oomph. This time, I'll take some interest. How dare he touch my people? When Lin Shun returns, I'll personally kill him. His life is mine. Yi Juesheng, don't overstep your boundaries. The two youths sitting in the VIP lounge glanced at each other, full of hostility. One of them had tiger-like eyes and sharp eyebrows. The other was handsome and cold, with sharp eyes and sharp eyebrows. Their auras seemed to overflow at any time and shatter the space crystal walls. The two of them were so young, yet they were already mid-first level Yuan venerates. They both wore a dazzling purple medal on their chests. Purple merit. A purple merit that hadn't appeared in Sky Song Academy in 1,000 years. The two of them were Yi Juesheng, who had been in seclusion, and Mo Feng, who had tried to harm Lin Shan multiple times in the Sacred Fire Realm. Xiao Long, destroy the two trash in the arena. They have already signed the life and death contract, so you can beat them to death. Yi Juesheng wiped his neck and secretly sent a voice transmission to the battle arena. One of the seniors immediately cupped his fists and accepted the order. His face was filled with killing intent. How dare you maliciously destroy Big Brother Lin Chen's exclusive dormitory? Either kneel down and apologize, or we'll tear off a few pieces of your flesh. Ying Liang's expression was gloomy. Ha ha ha. Kowtow and apologize? With just the two of you? Two trash who don't know the immensity of heaven and earth. How dare you provoke Master Yi Juesheng? The two of them attacked fiercely. The two seniors, who were at the 8th level of the Heaven Dipper realm, caused the space crystal walls of the battle arena to distort continuously. Juanhao, don't force yourself. Ying Liang, hurry up and surrender. Don't resist anymore. The Su sisters and Gu Chunfeng shouted from outside the arena. The two of them did not seem to be listening at all. Their bodies surged with battle chi attacks. At this critical moment, an afterimage rushed into the arena and joined the battle. Boom! The battle chi handprints and finger-flicking light of the two seniors were annihilated into nothingness by a strange wave. Han Yiji's slender body stood in the middle of the stage. Her small face was serious and dignified. Someone has already joined this battle. Just take it that the two of them have forfeited. I will fight with you. The dazzling blue metal entered everyone's eyes, and they couldn't help but suck in a breath of cold air. Such a delicate and slender person was actually a blue merit? No matter who it was, Yi Juesheng's subordinates did not plan to let them go. An even more intense battle was about to erupt. Tens of thousands of people gathered in the Sun Saint Palace, and they were all famous figures in the spiritual state. Outside the hall, red carpets were laid out, and tens of thousands of tables were set up for a banquet. There were more than 50,000 Heaven Star Border Realm cultivators present today. Bai Tianqi sat in the main hall with a smile on his face. He nodded slightly at the leaders of the forces who had arrived at the Sun Saint Palace. Because of the vicious beast auction, there were many leaders of the forces who were related to Bai Tianqi. Therefore, almost 1/10 of the first-rate forces in the spiritual state had gathered at this wedding banquet, and each of them sent representatives to congratulate him. Some of the smaller forces even wanted to take this opportunity to see the saint's true appearance. Ah, Lin Shun, I didn't expect Yun Manqing to be your woman. When the time comes, I will humiliate you in front of your face. She is my concubine. Thinking of this, Bai Tianqi felt a trace of joy in his heart. Ever since he was defeated by Lin Shan last time, he had been bringing his 3 Class 6 vicious beasts with him almost all the time. His true strength was not his cultivation on the surface, but his vicious beast army. He had already decided that if he found Lin Shan again, he would use his vicious beast army to annihilate him. The wedding banquet gradually began. When the bride slowly walked onto the stage with a red veil, everyone exclaimed. Even though she had yet to reveal her true appearance, Yun Manqing's graceful figure was like a pure lotus, elegant and refined. Bai Tianqi was stunned for a moment. But if someone looked carefully, they would notice that Yun Manqing was being supported by two beautiful maids. They were using their battle aura to bind Yun Manqing at all times. Obviously, this happy occasion was not as beautiful as imagined. Today is the big day for me, Bai Tianqi and Miss Yun Manqing. Here, I propose a toast to everyone. Bai Tianqi stood on the peak of the mountain outside the Sun Palace. He held a golden jade cup with both hands and proposed a toast to everyone, finishing it in one gulp. Inside and outside the Sun Palace, at the foot of the mountain, many banquet tables were set up. Everyone looked up and saw the saint's true appearance for the first time. Some people who were toasted by the saint couldn't help but blush with excitement. This was probably a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity, and they could brag about it for the rest of their lives. Even though it was a toast, and his tone was polite, Bai Tianqi's voice still had an innate nobility. He waved his hand and said, "I, Bai Tianqi, don't like nonsense. Let's skip the formalities. Today, I will present a hornless dragon dance to everyone." Bai Tianqi whistled, and the frost hornless dragon that was entrenched in the sky flew down and danced. Everyone exclaimed. This was a genuine level 6 ferocious beast. It was equivalent to the human race's Yuan Venerate. In the past, many powerhouses didn't even have the chance to see such a ferocious beast, let alone admire it up close. The frost hornless dragon wandered in the void, moving its body and shuttling through the clouds in a series of graceful movements. It moved through the clouds and rain, and wherever it passed, frost and snow would fly. It was a magnificent sight. The frost hornless dragon opened its mouth and spat out a dragon's breath, forming a beautiful scene of snow in June that was reflected outside the Sun Palace. Great! The saint is indeed the saint. He can even command a level 6 ferocious beast at will. He is indeed amazing. Today's event was not in vain. It's worth it even if I go bankrupt. Many powerhouses present cheered excitedly. Just as everyone was looking forward to it and was in a daze, suddenly, the weather changed. Boom! A section of the Azure Dragon's huge claw seemed to tear through the clouds as it slammed toward the Frost Hornless Dragon. Bang! The Frost Hornless Dragon was slapped into the sacred Fire Mountain range by the claw, causing the earth to shake and the mountains to shake. Many powerhouses were dumbfounded. An ancient Azure Dragon with a domineering dragon aura and a soaring aura hovered high in the sky and appeared without any warning. It roared angrily at the sky, shattering the spatial crystal walls and causing landslides and tsunamis. It even triggered the Sun Palace's guardian array to protect the guests present. Many powerhouses were dumbfounded. What exactly was going on? That was a level 6 frost hornless dragon that was comparable to a level 1 Yuan Venerate. How could it be sent flying with a single claw? Chapter 382. All the VIPs were shocked. How could no one react when such a terrifying Azure Dragon had approached the Sun Palace? What happened? When did this Azure Dragon appear there? Quick, suppress it. Otherwise, this wedding banquet will be a mess. The Bai family's Yuan Venerates were the first to make a move. 3 first-level Yuan Venerate elders flew out in succession. Bai Tianqi's gaze was fixed on the ancient Azure Dragon as he gritted his teeth and said, "Could it be you, Lin Shun?" Boom! As soon as he said that, a loud bang was heard. An early-stage, first-level Yuan Venerate elder of the Bai family spun a dozen times in the air before crashing down beside Bai Tianqi. Many VIPs made way for him, their mouths trembling in shock. Silver robes fluttered as the figure of a young man slowly stepped into the Sun Palace. One strike, he had sent a Yuan Venerate elder flying with just one slap. Who exactly was this person? Bai Tianqi's eyes narrowed. It was impossible for him not to recognize this person. It was Lin Shun, whom he had been thinking about day and night. What surprised him was that Lin Shun's current strength was completely different from what it had been a year ago. The bride trembled slightly when she saw Lin Shun. 2 drops of tears fell from her red veil. How dare you? How dare you ruin the Sun Sacred Hall's wedding banquet? Who are you? 2 Sacred Hall elders stepped forward to berate Lin Shun. He glanced at the 2 of them indifferently and snapped his fingers lightly. Crack! The binding battle chi fluctuations immediately burst out from the bride's body. Her battle chi had been unshackled. Such a tyrannical method once again shocked many of the elders of the Divine Temple. This was a battle chi seal set up by Yuan Venerate Elder, yet this young man had actually undone it so easily. After undoing the battle chi seal, Yun Manqing threw away the red veil and ran towards Lin Shun in tears of joy. The elders who wanted to stop her made several battle chi hand seals across the air. Lin Shun used his mind power to sweep out a few wisps of mind power and easily obliterate the numerous battle chi attacks. Mind power attack? What a powerful spiritual force. Lin Shen's cold expression suddenly turned into a smile. He hugged Yun Manqing, who was running towards him. Thank goodness you're here, Lin Lang. Sparkling tears streamed down her cheeks. Yun Manqing's eyes were brimming with tears, making Lin Shen's heart ache. Judging from the battle chi seal, just now, Yun Manqing must have been forced to agree to this marriage. Thinking of this, Lin Shen's eyes became cold and murderous. He had completely lost all trust in the Sun Temple. His future wife had almost been snatched away. How could Lin Shen feel at ease letting her stay here? The temple elders asked in bewilderment. You are Lin Shen? Patting Yun Manqing, Lin Shen smiled confidently and said, It's fine. Leave everything to me now. Yun Manqing hummed happily. She held Lin Shen's hand and stood obediently beside him. When everyone saw this proud girl's blissful and shy appearance, it was clear who her heart belonged to. As long as she stayed by Lin Shen's side, Yun Manqing would have great courage. It was as if as long as she was with him, she wouldn't be afraid, even if the whole world became her enemy. Lin Shen took a step forward. When he opened his mouth, his voice spread throughout the entire Sun Palace. Today, I only want to kill Bai Tianqi, or kill everyone here who wants to help him. As soon as he said this, the Sun Palace was in a state of shock. Lin Shen's attitude was so domineering that it made people's hair stand on end. For those Heaven Star Border Realm cultivators who saw the saint for the first time, they were even more shocked. He actually wanted to kill the honorable saint who was above countless people. He even said that he wanted to kill everyone here who wanted to help him. This was like a group of country gentry who had painstakingly saved up enough money to enter the palace through their connections. They were lucky enough to meet the emperor. At this time, a young man suddenly popped out and said that he wanted to kill this dog emperor. How could the gentry present accept this? Ha ha ha. Kill me? Do you think it's still the same as before? My ferocious beast army is all here today. Do you think an ancient azure dragon like you can contend against me? Bai Tianqi laughed wildly, as if it was finally time to get back at them. All of you get out of my way. I want to crush this ant personally. Bai Tianqi had just finished speaking when 2 of the 3 by family Yuan Venerate elders were sent flying and landed on the mountain peak beside the Sun Palace. Everyone looked over in shock. The ancient azure dragon in the void not only had the upper hand, but also seriously injured the 3 elders. 27,000 dragon power points? This ancient azure dragon strength is comparable to a mid-second level Heaven Star Border Realm cultivator. Don't fight without permission, a Bai family elder exclaimed. The ancient azure dragon relied on the 2 dragon race mystiques that had been passed down in the tomb, and its combat strength was comparable to a peak second level Yuan Venerate. How can this azure dragon be so strong? Bai Tianqi's expression changed slightly. Lin Shun carried Yun Manqing and floated in the air. The ancient azure dragon immediately retreated to Lin Shen's side to protect the 2 of them. The elder who had persisted until the end quickly retreated. A peak 3rd level Yuan Venerate elder stood up and glared coldly at Lin Shen. The ice nightmare dragon that had been sent flying flew up again and roared angrily at the ancient azure dragon. Old Chi, you don't have to deal with this kid. Leave him to me. Bai Tianchi stopped the peak third-level Yuan Venerate Elder. The latter frowned and said seriously, "Then please be careful, Sacred Son. This kid is a little unpredictable." Be careful of any tricks. Any tricks will be useless. He will definitely die in the face of absolute strength. Bai Tianchi suddenly rushed into the sky, and waves of fire surged. Two mountain-sized dragon fire cheilants stood on either side of Bai Tianchi. These two dragon fire cheilants were Bai Tianchi's strongest dire beasts. Each of them was comparable to a mid-second level Yuan Venerate. Many of the VIPs present felt their blood boil. They hadn't expected to attend the Sacred Son's wedding and personally witness the Sacred Son's heroic bearing. The spatial light around the Sacred Son Hall shrouded and protected all the buildings belonging to the Sacred Son Hall in the Sacred Fire Mountain Range. This battle was no small matter. If the Sacred Sun Great Array wasn't activated, the four behemoths in the void would raze most of the buildings in the mountain range to the ground. At that moment, an even more surprising scene occurred. The ancient azure dragon shrunk its body and protected Yun Manqing as it retreated thousands of miles away. In the end, only Lin Chun was left to face Bai Tianchi and the three behemoths in the void alone. He asked the azure dragon to retreat. Could it be that he wants to take on the Sacred Sun and his three unparalleled dire beasts alone? This is crazy. Could he be a third-level Yuan Venerate powerhouse? When Lin Chun used his cultivation technique, Thunder Tribulation, and Gold Calamity Battle Body, everyone was stunned when they sensed that he was only a peak quasi-Venerate. Bai Tianchi was so angry that he laughed when he saw this scene. Peak quasi-Venerate? Do you still think this is the same as when I was training my dire beasts? Ha ha ha. Lin Chun flicked his fingernails and sneered disdainfully. I don't need my azure dragon to beat up trash like you. Chapter 383. I think you're just courting death. As Bai Tianchi roared, the frost hornless dragon spat out a frosty dragon breath that froze the void, sealing Lin Chen's movements. The entire eastern part of the sacred fire mountain, which had always been rich in fire elemental energy, was suddenly covered in heavy snow. In the gap between their coordination, the horns of the two dragon fire cheilants shot out towering fire pillars, attacking Lin Chun from above and below. A golden light flashed past, and Lin Chun broke the fire pillars with the five dragons' imperial spear in his hand. Get down! Lin Chun smashed his spear with a backhand, and golden light burst out from the tip of the spear, twisting and dancing in the void, instantly shooting toward the frost hornless dragon. Chi! The dragon's scales cracked, and the storm-like golden light broke through the frost hornless dragon's defense. Even its frosty dragon breath couldn't protect it. Bai Tianchi's expression changed slightly, and the dragon fire Qilin rushed forward, stepping on clouds as it shook the mountains and the four seas. The purple phoenix wings flapped, and Lin Chun used the Hell King's step lightly, easily dodging it like a bullfighter playing with a bull. Boom! The other dragon fire Qilin was ready to attack, spitting out flames from its dragon breath. The moment it attacked, the many fifth-grade ferocious beasts hiding in the mountain range were waiting for an opportunity to move. Waves of energy gathered from all directions, condensing into one with the dragon fire Qilin's attack. Fusing the complex and colorful energy of a large number of ferocious beasts together, this kind of attack method made even the experts of the older generation present gasp in amazement. Lin Chun danced with the five dragons' imperial spear at extreme speed, and the sky was filled with spear shadows like rolling waves. The spear shadows were impenetrable, blocking the torrent-like complex energy. However, the other dragon fire Qilin immediately turned around and spat out a breath, sweeping its flaming tail, and the breath rolled into a monstrous storm toward Lin Chun. A several hundred zhang tall cold pillar broke through the ground and shot towards Lin Chun, freezing both of his arms. The spear shadow's offensive power was greatly reduced. Arrogant fellow, die in front of your woman, and then I'll take pity on her for you, ah. Bai Tianchi suddenly laughed wildly. Even a mid-third level Yuan Venerate would have to avoid the combined attack of 30 top-notch level 5 ferocious beasts and 3 level 6 ferocious beasts. Without the protection of the ancient Azure Dragon, he was almost certain that Lin Shun was dead for sure. Lin Shen's lips curled into a strange smile. In addition to Thunder Tribulation and Metal Tribulation, there was also a new type of battle chi circulating around his body. I don't even need to dodge an attack of this level. Wan Yuexian Armor. Heavenly Dipper Battle Chi. Boom. Bang. An earth-shaking explosion resounded through the skies, and the spatial crystal walls shattered inch by inch. Waves of energy rocked the defensive array like a tidal wave, causing many of the guests to panic. If it wasn't for the protection of the Sun Temple's protective array, the number of people present could be counted on one hand. When the energy tide dissipated, Bai Tianchi sneered. Just as he was about to take a look at Lin Shen's battered and exhausted appearance, the earthy yellow rock helmet, which was dozens of feet long, slowly cracked open, and everyone saw it. Crack! Crack! The rock helmet slowly fell off, and the young man's frivolous smile appeared, shocking many Yuan Venerate powerhouses. The combined attack of so many ferocious beasts, which was comparable to a mid-third level Yuan Venerate's attack, had actually only broken his defensive technique. Bai Tianchi's sneer came to an abrupt end. It was impossible for him not to recognize this move, as this was the defensive technique he had used to protect his life, the Wan Yuexian Armor. He actually learned my Wan Yuexian Armor? What made Bai Tianchi and the Bai family feel numb wasn't just that Lin Shun had learned the Wan Yuexian Armor. Instead, it was that he had actually used the Wan Yuexian Armor to perfectly withstand the combined attack of a mid-third level Yuan Venerate with his peak quasi-Venerate cultivation. Even a third-level Yuan Venerate powerhouse might not be able to do this. The Shengzi's attack actually couldn't shake him. It can't be, right? The aftermath of the attack just now was very terrifying. Could it be that it was just a facade? Most of the VIPs were discussing spiritedly, but anyone with a discerning eye could see that it wasn't that Bai Tianchi was too weak, but that Lin Shun was too strong. I don't believe that you can take a second wave of my attack. Bai Tianchi roared hysterically. The seals on his hands suddenly changed, and the ferocious beast army in the Sacred Fire Mountain range once again gathered to attack. The dragon fire Cheelants roared angrily, their bodies burning with raging dragon flames as they raised their huge Cheelan hooves and charged forward. The energy of the ferocious beast army converged on the two dragon fire Cheelants like a torrent, and the two Cheelants charged toward Lin Chen one after another. The two dragon fire Cheelants led the charge and charged toward Lin Chen. This time, the attack was even stronger than before. Boom! Bang! The attack that made the entire Sacred Fire Mountain range shake violently a few times, and the light of many palace-protecting arrays suddenly dimmed. Clearly, in order to withstand this attack, even the Sun Sacred Hall's protective array had consumed a lot of energy. When the flying dust dissipated, although the yellow stone helmet was damaged, the young man inside the stone helmet was still standing proudly on the field. The many Yuan Venerate elders of the Sacred Hall and the Bai family gasped. This attack, which was enough to shake late-stage, third-level martialists, still couldn't threaten Lin Shun. How abnormal was this peak quasi-Venerate? Wouldn't he be able to turn the world upside down if he became a true Yuan Venerate? This test is still very successful. It seems that with the Earth Calamity Battle Body, the Spirit Illusion Cloak, and my own defense, any attack below the 4th level of the Heaven Dipper realm is nothing. Lin Shun smiled confidently and removed the 1,000 Yuexian armor. Lightning flashed and appeared under his feet. Purple flames surged behind him as his body moved swiftly through the void. Boom! With the Thunder Calamity Battle Body, Lin Shun turned into a bolt of lightning. Almost no one present had time to react. The 5 Dragons' Imperial Spear stabbed furiously at the Frost Chi Dragon, as if it could pierce through the galaxy. Then, the lightning suddenly changed direction and smashed down rapidly. The gold calamity battle body's sharpness was unstoppable as a golden light slashed down. The sharp metal chi tore through the defense of a dragon fire Qilin on the spot. In a blink of an eye, 2 level 6 dire beasts were killed on the spot. What a terrifying speed. He actually has such a movement technique. Why did he have to resist the Saint attack just now? Oh no, the Saint is in danger. After Lin Shun killed 2 level 6 dire beasts at lightning speed, the Bai family Yuan Venerate elders finally realized Lin Chen's true strength. Qi. The tip of the spear pierced through the last dragon fire Qilin and split it in half. Blood flowed like a river. Lin Chen's true combat strength was so strong that it made everyone pale. After getting rid of Bai Tianqi's 3 main dire beasts, Lin Chen charged toward Bai Tianqi rapidly. Clang! A few hundred feet away from Bai Tianqi, the 5 Dragons' Imperial Spear was blocked by a peak 3rd level Bai family elder. This kid is crazy. Hurry up and protect the Saint. Another late-stage, 3rd level Yuan Venerate elder flanked Lin Shun from both sides and temporarily blocked him. The golden war spear pierced through the golden lightning shadow and pressed forward heavily. Lin Shin was actually not at a disadvantage, even though he was fighting 2 enemies alone. Chapter 384. My Dragon Fire Qilin. That damn bastard. How long has it been? How could his strength have transformed so quickly? Bai Tianqi roared with bloodshot eyes. At that moment, the clouds parted and 2 afterimages rushed toward Bai Tianqi. They were Lin Chen's phantom doppelgangers. Oh no, this kid is still holding back. The expression of the Sacred Hall elder, who had just rushed out of the array, changed. In a flash, 2 senior Sacred Hall elders appeared on Bai Tianqi's left and right. Black Dragon Palm, Level 7 Dark Dragon Force. Tai Sword Palm. The 2 elders were aggressive as they clashed with Lin Chen's 2 phantom doppelgangers. They barely managed to protect Bai Tianqi. Whoosh. However, the moment the 2 Sacred Hall elders were held back, another figure appeared above Bai Tianqi's head like a ghost. A 3rd phantom doppelganger. Bai Tianqi, who had lost the protection of the ferocious beasts, was merely an early-stage, quasi-venerable. 10,000 Yuexian armor. Bai Tianqi had just activated his battle force to display the 10,000 Yuexian armor when a 3rd phantom doppelganger struck him with the black dragon palm. The swirling dark dragon force penetrated Bai Tianqi's entire body. His 10,000 Yuexian armor couldn't even withstand the level 1 dark dragon force of Lin Shun. Crack! Bang! The sound of his head shattering could be heard. Then, Bai Tianqi's entire body exploded into a bloody mist. He died without a complete corpse. Everyone was dumbstruck when they saw the swirling blood mist. A dignified ancient family's holy son had been killed by a 20-year-old youth on the spot. Bai family, Sacred Sun Temple. 2 3rd-level Yuan Venerates and 2 2nd-level Yuan Venerates were dispatched each, but they still couldn't prevent Bai Tianqi from dying. He was only a quasi-venerable. He could fight 4 supremacies alone and still kill a holy son in front of them. If he entered the Yuan Venerate realm, which of his peers in all the ancient families in the entire spiritual state would be his match? The answer might be that no one. Host has received a tribute Rune Evolution Stone, 70 talent points, 1 intermediate Earth Energy Point, 2 intermediate Rune Energy Points, 2 intermediate Cultivation Techniques Soul Essence. Host has opened the Cyan Crystal Treasure Chest. Obtained 1 specialty Rune Evolution Stone, blue rank top mental cultivation method, 10,000 Beast Demon Controlling Art. Several attribute light balls and a treasure chest merged with Lin Chen's doppelganger. The doppelganger suddenly flashed and returned to Lin Chen's side. The ancient azure dragon at the side waited for an opportunity and immediately pounced forward. It dug out the dire beast cores of the 3 Class 6 dire beasts and swallowed them. It had to be said that Bai Tianqi's attacks were the strongest among all the saints Lin Shun had encountered so far. However, Lin Chen's actual combat strength was inferior to the Bai family's Heavenly Sword Saint. This was because his attack required the combination of many beasts and conditions. If it was a large-scale battle, then Bai Tianqi would be a dazzling existence on the battlefield. But if it was a one-on-one fight, especially against someone like Lin Chen who was extremely fast, he was not even worth mentioning. If Lin Chen hadn't wanted to test the level of his defense, he wouldn't even have had the chance to touch the corner of Lin Chen's clothes. Lin Chen, you dare to kill the Bai family's saint? The expressions of many powerhouses changed. The Bai family's elder shouted angrily. Lin Chen was not angry. Instead, he laughed. I've said it before, I'll definitely take his dog life. If you guys want to continue, then I don't mind killing all of you too. Lin Chen's eyes were filled with murderous intent. He looked fearless even if he killed everyone. At this moment, the dire beast army in the Sacred Fire Mountain began to riot. Because they had lost control of Bai Tianqi, they fled in all directions. Some of the Sanctum elders had to personally suppress them. If they were allowed to wreak havoc, there wouldn't be many survivors in the Sacred Fire Mountain. If you guys from the Bai family touch him, then be prepared to become enemies with the Yin family. At this moment, Yin Qinyun stood up in the air. The Yin family? This brat has such a relationship. The Bai family's elders were frightened. A yellow-robed elder said in a deep voice, Miss Yin, even if Lin Chen is related to your Yin family, he killed our Bai family's saint. How can we just let this matter rest? Yin Qinyun said in an unhurried manner, elegant and otherworldly. Let this matter rest. Bai Tianqi brought all of this upon himself. If he didn't insist on marrying Lin Chen's close female friend, how could he have ended up like this? Before this so-called happy occasion began, the person involved, Miss Yun Manxing, had already stood up and expressed that she had already given her heart to someone else. Could it be that Bai Tianqi didn't want to take her by force? Yin Qinyun's words caused the Bai family's elders to break out in cold sweat. The yellow-robed elder waved his hand gloomily. I want to talk about principles with you. I can't win against your Yin family. Today, this brat will pay with his life. It's useless no matter who comes. All right, then you guys better be prepared to fight with me and the consequences of opposing the Yin family. Yin Qinyun stood in front of Lin Chen. Some of the Bai family's elders felt their hair stand on end. They hurriedly transmitted their voices to persuade the yellow-robed elder. Every ancient family was well aware of the consequences of offending the Yin family. The gloomy yellow-robed elder hesitated for a moment. Our Bai family will remember this grudge. Lin Chen, Miss Yin of the Yin family, there will be a day when you will see the true strength of our Bai family. The yellow-robed elder coldly threatened. With a wave of his hand, he led the Bai family's experts away. Yin Qinyun frowned. In the past, even if the ancient families were dissatisfied with the Yin family, they didn't dare to say it out loud. But this yellow-robed elder actually dared to threaten Yin Qinyun? Could it be that there was really some big movement behind their backs? Perhaps, when I return to the family this time, I have to find a chance to divine the Bai family's fortune and intentions. Yin Qinyun thought in her heart. All the guests present were bewildered. Lin Chen and the others had actually killed the Bai family's holy son, but the Bai family seemed to be afraid of taking action and didn't dare to make a move. The ancient green dragon circled to Lin Chen's side. He and Yun Manxing looked at each other as if their minds were connected. Then, Lin Chen calmly announced, from today onward, Yun Manxing will cut off all ties with the Sun Saint Palace. Lin Chen's words caused a huge commotion. The elders of the Sun Saint Palace immediately stood up and questioned. Lin Chen, don't push us too far. Do you really think that our Sun Saint Palace is made of mud? Kid, how dare you? Our Sun Saint Palace has raised Yun Manxing for more than a dozen years. What right do you have to take her away? If they allowed Lin Chen to take Yun Manxing away in front of all the leaders of the forces in the spiritual state, the reputation of the Sun Saint Palace would plummet. Lin Chen could understand sacrificing a disciple's lifelong happiness for the benefit of the faction, but he would never forgive it. I won't let her stay in a place where she can be betrayed at any time. Lin Chen's expression was resolute. Yun Manqing felt a surge of warmth in her heart, and she tightened her grip on Lin Chen's hand. Yin Qinyun was slightly moved, and her green eyes sparkled. This item is the price for taking Manqing away. I think it's more than enough to repay the kindness of raising her for more than a dozen years. Lin Chun waved his hand, and the exquisite jade box turned into a beam of light. The vice palace master of the Sun Saint Palace, a beautiful middle-aged woman, grabbed the box in the air and opened it. The pure light of the holy flame shot up into the sky, and everyone was shocked. It was the legendary holy flame seed. Chapter 385. It wasn't just the people of the Sacred Sun Temple. Even the VIPs present today had their eyes lit up. Many powerhouses were very clear about the mysterious effects of the Sacred Fire Seed. Not only could it help one break through the bottleneck of the Yuan Venerate realm, but could also allow one's life force to undergo a shocking transformation. The potential to reach the level of a saint. He actually has a Sacred Fire Seed. Oh my God! This is a chance to become a saint as comparable to the saints of the 1114 ancient families. Some powerhouses were eager to make a move, their hearts trembling with excitement. After the elders of the Sacred Sun Temple came to their senses, they quietly spread out to guard against anyone with ulterior motives. At that moment, Granny Qian, who had adopted Yun Manqing, flew over and said anxiously, "Lin Chun, don't be rash." Lin Chen glanced at her and cupped his fists solemnly. "Granny Qian, thank you for adopting Manqing, but I'm very disappointed in the Sacred Sun Temple. From today onwards, Manqing will no longer be a disciple of the Sacred Sun Temple." Granny Qian looked at Yun Manqing reluctantly. The latter jumped down from the ancient azure dragon's back and hugged Granny Qian. "Granny Qian, you are both my parent and my master. Manqing will never forget your great kindness." Yun Manqing stared at Granny Qian seriously, and the old woman smiled bitterly. "Forget it. Since you have made up your mind, then go. This little guy even killed a saint for you. I'm not afraid that he will bully you. You have done a lot for the Sacred Sun Temple since you were young. Now, it's time for you to pursue your own happiness." After bidding farewell to Granny Qian, Lin Chun left the Sacred Fire Mountain with Yun Manqing. When Lin Chun left, the elders of the Sacred Sun Temple were filled with regret. Their hearts were filled with complicated feelings, and their hearts were filled with endless regret. Not only had they lost the backing of the Bai families by Tianqi, but they had also personally offended a peerless genius who was countless times more monstrous than Bai Tianqi. The treasure he had casually given to the Sacred Sun Temple was a sacred fire seed. How terrifying was his background, as well as his strength and potential. Everyone had witnessed it for themselves. If he was given a certain amount of time, he would definitely become a peak powerhouse of the spiritual state. It was precisely this kind of genius that they had forcefully rejected outside the door, and even offended him so many times. Perhaps we've made the most wrong decision. Holding the jade box containing the holy flame seed, the Vice Hall Master's face seemed to have aged a dozen years. Heavenly Song Academy, Battle Arena Number 4. Today was the Young Master-Level Ranking Competition, a grand occasion that both the new and old students in the academy were paying attention to. In the battle space, Yu Lin Lin and Lu Lin stood side by side. Their expressions were cold, and their killing intent was unprecedentedly strong. Take back your words. You have no right to insult Class Rep Lin Chun. The two top young merit cadets shrugged their shoulders and laughed mockingly. Lin Chen's mistresses are really beautiful. Tell me, what benefits did Lin Chen give you to make you follow him so loyally? Isn't it better to follow our senior MO Feng? Senior MO Feng is one of the purple merit ranks, a person who can get whatever he wants in the academy. The two women's expressions turned even colder. Yu Lin Lin said coldly, "Shut your dog mouths. How can people like you understand class rep Lin Chen's sincerity and sincerity? Lin, don't waste your breath on these people. If they don't pay the price today, they won't apologize. A purplish-gray, poisonous intent flashed across Lu Lin Er's eyes, sinister and cold. In another battle space, Zhang Yu and Gu Chunfeng each fell on one side of the battle space. Both of them were covered in blood, and their qi and blood were weak. It was obvious that they didn't have the strength to continue fighting. However, the referee elder didn't shout for the battle to be stopped. Two young master-level seniors walked over slowly. One of them lifted Zhang Yu's head and sneered. Trash like Lin Chun wants to fight against senior Yi Juesheng? You're working for him, but you're not as good as following a dog. Ha ha ha. Bang. Roar. A blood dragon rushed out from Gu Chunfeng's body and attached itself to his spear. It stabbed furiously and severely injured one of the young master-level seniors. Shut up. You're dogmouths. The one-armed Gu Chunfeng stood up again, and his eyes shone with a savage light like a lone wolf. Since you want to die for that dog, don't blame Senior. Stop. With a cold shout, an old figure barged into the battle space. Elder Yuan? When the referee elder saw who it was, he immediately lowered his head guiltily. Elder Yuan rushed over to help the two of them up and said coldly, "This battle ends here. Lin Lang, where are we going next?" Yun Manqing asked curiously as she, Lin Chun, and Yin Qinyun stood on the back of the ancient azure dragon, facing the wind. Return to the Heavenly Song Academy, of course. With my ability, I can definitely get you into the academy. You can stay in the academy from now on. Today's incident won't repeat itself. Lin Chen smiled and looked at Yin Qinyun. Beauty Yin, what are your plans next? You finally remembered me? You're such a handsome man, aren't you? Not only did you stand up for the Han clan, but you also helped the Lung clan regain their dignity. You even killed a saint. Yin Qinyun said grumpily. This guy really knew how to scheme, making her deal with so many things for him. Hee, since you want to cooperate, you must be sincere, right? Also, I can provide you with a clue. Lin Chen showed a rare, serious expression. He told Yin Qinyun all the information he got from Bai Ruan, which was the Bai family's actions. The Bai family might be related to the Han family's destruction. They also have connections with the ancient families outside the spiritual state and have a lot of transactions. Yin Qinyun's green eyes flashed with thoughts. This information, combined with the attitude of the Bai family's elder, was very strange. It seems that investigating the Bai family is urgent. This is my battle Qi Astral Jade. Take it with you, and I'll be able to find you. Handing Lin Chun a light blue Astral Jade, Yin Qinyun jumped, teleported, and fled in the direction of the Yin family. This fortune teller is really elusive. He comes and goes as he pleases. Putting away the Astral Jade, Lin Chen enjoyed some alone time with Yun Manqing. After the ancient azure dragon swallowed 3 beast cores, the number of dragon veins increased to 2,950. The two arrived at the territory of the Heavenly Song Academy. In less than half a day, Lin Chun and Yun Manqing officially returned to the Heavenly Song Academy. After putting away the ancient azure dragon, Lin Chun went straight to his dormitory. After more than a year, he really missed everyone. Everyone, the most handsome person in the academy, is back. Those who want an autograph, please line up on the left. Those who want a hug, please line up on the right. Only beauties are allowed. F***CK. Lin Chen had just landed in the dormitory. Before he could finish his words, he found that his exclusive dormitory building had been smashed into ruins. In addition, there were a lot of sticky things that looked like ferocious beast feces near the ruined dormitory, causing a foul smell to rise to the sky. It was obviously man-made. What happened? Lin Chen's heart was filled with an uneasy feeling. You're tuning into the Warrior Lore YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.